shit.
Yo,
Literally
Sam,
didn't do fucking anything. What's up?
did you see on my video? They said this is the best podcast yet or best video yet, and has the most views.
Yeah.
People love me.
Yeah.
America loves me. But you know what I sound like?
Congratulations. You should write a book.
I should, but I never realized
Time I got more views on All Reds podcast.
I watched them back. I don't realize how northern and high pitched voice I fucking sound.
Yeah, I've been telling you that for fucking years, asshole.
I know, but I watched it and I was like, dude, I sound high pitched. I sound like a little squeaker. Like, no wonder people made fun of me on Xbox when I was a little kid, dude. Like, instead of this day.
At least you weren't coughing every fifth word. I was just sending that shit right, and it's not like I have like a mic or anything.
No, dude,
it's
you were just ripping it.
Well, it's the mic and the headphones.
Yeah,
and me and Alex and Sopal got sick, so it was like,
dude, you guys are both sick.
All right, boys, we're live. So I guess we'll start it here. We've been live for the past minute or so. I'll text y'all the link if you guys want to push out to whoever. So welcome to episode 21. We have Sam the Shoemaster and Joey Van Squeal here tonight, live. First squad reunion. We were all in the same squad. We were all in the same squad together. And they've both been on the podcast previous. And we're here to be degenerates. This is going to be a mostly fun podcast with whatever kind of questions we get from the chat.
There's a chat?
That is a chat. I have it pulled up, so I'm going to text you guys a link so you guys can pull it up. Just you'll have to mute it. It's like delayed by like 30 seconds or something.
Oh, shit. Can I pull it up? I can pull it up on the computer.
You can pull it up on your computer. I'm texting it to you guys. But if you just go onto my YouTube channel, it should show up. All right. We have one dude asking how to get better at running, and he leaves for the Marine Corps boot camp June 5th with an infantry contract, which first of all, that's where he messed up.
I'll take that question because these two can't run. These two can't run. Okay, so I'll take the question.
Hey.
All right. So to get better at running, well, for instance, lose muscle mass, right? That's the number one thing. You cannot have much weight on you because being so is I used to be a great runner before I got in the military. I used to be really fast, and even when through RASP, I got really good at running. I was running, I think,
before I was your team leader.
Yes, before you were my team leader. I actually ran a 1050 2-mile right at MRC, so like right after RASP. And then right when I got to first squad, it went downhill really quick.
Yeah, because we were the meathead squad. First squad was always meathead squad.
Yeah. So if you want to be good at running, don't lift weights as much. Don't power lift. Do not power lift because you'll not be a great runner. But you can do both, but it's just not going to be as enjoyable. But I would say that's my
okay. Well,
answer.
for a dude, so this dude's 140 pounds. And I'm assuming so he's already pretty skinny on the skinny side. So I would assume it's mostly he doesn't need to not lift. It sounds like he needs to maybe do a little bit of lifting. But all I would say is what worked for me was the 6120s,
yes.
3060s. Like those were good. You get there.
I got the next one. Whose mom is hotter?
Whose mom is hotter?
That's probably Joe.
Definitely Joe. It's always Joe's mom.
Dude, you guys always say stuff about my mom, but I tell you, right, Mom, if you're seeing this, your
mom's not watching this shit.
I guess
0% chance.
Dude, my mom wears Ranger mom shirts to fucking work every day.
Yeah, so she's the hottest.
This shit.
So
all
she's
right, I'll text her the link.
You don't even have my mom's number, first of all. Okay, you guys can say my mom because I'm not going to say your guys' moms are hot. I'll take that as a compliment that my mom's hot. But I would like to think that she's not because I'm her son. So, no.
Well, brother, if you think about it, she's good enough for Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Because you did come out of Jesus's cock.
I did, dude. No, going back to the dude who asked about getting good for running. Realistic answer. Okay. 6120s is actually really good. It helped a lot with me. and getting my 5 mile time run down.
Mhm.
Just running a run isn't a good really way. You have to actually have like goals or standards that you want to do for each run. So you're playing like, hey, I want to run 2 miles at this pace. That's your best bet. Instead of be like, oh, I'm just going to run 2 miles to run 2 miles. That's not going to get you really much good results because you're going to probably half-ass it. So I'd say 6120s, long distance run, short distance run, and then like a heavy, like quick 2 mile run as hard as you can go type of style. So changing it up every time instead of kind of like working out, right? You're not going to do the same, exercises for the same workout every single day. You're going to change it up eventually, shock the system, but also, build different parts of your run. So whether it's, working up on, your cardio, working up on your, how in shape your legs are as running, especially as like me being, I used to be big into powerlifting. My legs were a lot less, I guess after 2 miles, it'd get pretty heavy, right? And so having to train your legs to be good for running longer distances. So just changing between 6120s, long distance, short distance tempo runs, all that different stuff. And you can find those all on, different YouTube videos and through social media and stuff like that. There's different programs, and you don't need to pay anybody. You can just look it up, and yeah. So that's my realistic answer for that.
I like to do half mile repeats as well. So like going, 90% on a half mile and then taking the same rest time. So like a 1-to-1 work to rest, and then doing like 4 to 6 of those and then working up to 8. Like that'll get you there too. We have another dude, Luis Leonardo, going to first bat and sock him right now. Good shit, dude. Good shit. It's tough for medics when they first show up. You don't get assigned to a line company right away. You do a little bit of time at headquarters until you can prove that you're not going to accidentally kill someone. So finish up sock'em. Sock'em's the hard part, and then showing up is the next hard part. And then we have another guy. I can't pronounce this. Sporadic, maybe. Just got back from an injury, and I'm comfortable rucking around 4 to 6 to 4.8 miles an hour. That's very precise, my man. I don't know what I could ruck at to the exact decimal point for a mile an hour. What would you recommend to get back above 5? Probably not ruck as much as you think you need to ruck to get back above that. You really don't need to do a whole lot of rucking to get good at rucking. Like you can get away with doing like 1 a week. Go ahead, Sam.
And yeah, rucking is terrible for your body. Rucking crushes you. One thing that I like to do, and this is just general cardio, not even necessarily for rucking, but if you have some sort of like, go into your local gym, you'll look like a freak, but if you have like a treadmill that can incline, doing like some incline, just walking, you just walk, like you throw your kit on, or if you really want to ruck, throw your ruck on and just do a little bit of incline. And then I would kind of go not super fast, but also, I'm not sprinting, but I'm not walking around with my grandma at the mall. And then after like 15 minutes doing that, I would kind of lower the incline a little bit and up the speed. And by the time that you're flat, you're right at about like that 5 mile an hour, because on the treadmill, you're just cruising. It feels like your legs are so light and you're just almost sprinting. It feels like it's insane. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't, like Allred said, you definitely do not have to ruck as often as you think so, because it just destroys your body.
Yeah. No, it's gross.
I think more with rucking too, it's, at least in my like perception, it's less about cardio and it's more about like your whole body, like physical wise.
I feel like rucking is mental. It's like all mental.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I was never like I'm going to go at this pace the entire time, and I have to keep this pace in order to hit it. I was more of like a bebop along a little bit, look at my watch, oh, I'm right at about here. I should probably run for a little while and then run and then go back to walking and kind of just fuck around, I guess, while I'm doing it.
Yeah, like wrecking for me is never because I did the, the run 2 light poles, walk 1, or vice versa. And I never like, it's compared to a 5 mile cardio wise, it's not that hard because it's all dependent on how fast you want to go. It's like for me, I always ran into problems of cramping and just the pain in my traps, and like you said, the mental toughness type of part of it. So I'd say, like you said, you don't need to do it as often as you think you need to. Like once you do rucking enough, you get to the point where it's not physically the point where you can't do it. It's all mental. And at that point, I'd say to get better at it is just to realistically like better hydrate, eat more food, like make sure you don't get cramps before it. And I guess you can strengthen, your legs and your calves and type of that stuff. But it comes down to just mental and the day and a couple of days prior to it. Because once you've rucked enough, to the point where you can do a 12-mile ruck in under 3 hours, then it really just comes down to the point of just, being able to not cramp and something that's going to take you out of it. Because realistically, at the end of the day, it's like if you can do a 12-mile in under 3 hours, and meeting the standard is good most of the time. You don't need to do it in an hour.
That's all anybody cares about.
Yeah, you don't. Oh, I did a 12
unless you're trying to do BRC or something crazy.
Yeah, and people are gonna. I mean, people will use it as like oh, you're a piece of shit. You did right at 3 hours. Well, if the standard was anything more, I would have done it quicker, but it's not. So until you change that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, just general cardio shape. So it kind of goes back to the running thing. Like the keeping your legs from giving out on you is mostly a matter of preparation the days beforehand with, carb loading and having good electrolytes in your system and having sufficient hydration levels. And then it's just cardio really at the end of the day. So like those 1/2 mile repeats are super good for rucking as well. Unweighted, you do those unweighted, and just having a solid cardio base. All right, we'll move on. So Mr. Who's Your Turtles and Tortoises, interesting name. Is there any group outside of Brotherhood of the Scroll on Facebook for us to link up? I don't think that there is. I think that's one of the bigger, the Ranger ones.
There used to be one called the Ranger Barracks. I don't know if it's still on there or not.
It sounds like that one would have gotten banned.
I think it might have. That one was pretty good, but I don't know if that one is still. Actually, I'll check right now. Hold on. I doubt that it's still around.
There's the Ranger Barracks. Sounds like the real Ranger Barracks.
It was the Ranger Barracks.
He's checking on that. Sam Miller is asking again. Well, let's see. Tyler Jones, would you recommend going with an option 40 for prepare good enough or enlisted and then applying for Ranger Bat? Always, if Ranger Bat is what you want, always go in with an option 40 because chances of you getting screwed or losing motivation later down the road is much higher than you being able to get to Ranger Bat at a later date.
Yes, I can attest to that. When I went to basic and I had an option 40 contract, and I was possibly thinking in my head, I was like, I remember talking to the drill sergeants and I was like, well, I don't think I want to like do this option 40 because I don't think I'm ready for it. Like right now, I don't know enough. Like I just am in basic. Like I don't know shit and I'm going to go straight into that. Like it doesn't make sense. I feel like I should go to my unit, get some training, and then like go to it. And like you said, if you have an option 40, treat it as a lottery ticket and whatever, because a lot of times you're end up going to get screwed with whatever different circumstances once you go to your unit. So if you have the option 40 when you come in, take it, and you probably have realistically a better chance of making it right out of basic in airborne school, or I guess it's changed now, but right out of basic because you're in the mindset of like that whole mentality of getting screamed at, getting yelled at, smokings, et cetera, that it's a lot easier to go straight from there, easier transition to go straight from there into RASP than it would be to go to unit, do a year or 2 years, and then trying to commit to something like that. So,
yeah, that's about right. And in reality, it's designed for dudes who don't have any experience. Like, oh, I'm not ready. It's like, well, it's designed for people who aren't ready at the end of the day. Like, yeah, you have to be in good shape and stuff, but it's like, good shape and be mentally strong enough to do it. And if you've got that, then you qualify if you pass.
Well, you got no bad habits too. That's a big thing, no bad
Mhm.
habits that they have to work through. You're a fresh slab of meat that they can do whatever they want with you. So,
And plus imports are treated not very nicely. To put it simply, it's very hard to integrate as an import in regiment, just because we like to have organic dudes, I guess, if you will, dudes that have grown up there instead of coming in like Joe was saying with bad habits. Oh, my old unit. Shut the fuck up. In my old unit, we did it this way. Well, that's why your old unit sucks. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, there's a reason why you're here now instead of there.
Exactly. So if your unit was so good, you wouldn't have come to join us. So don't try and bring your bullshit with you.
Back on that Facebook page, I don't think it's still up. I'm not a part of it anymore. So
sounds like it's gone.
she's probably been gone for a hot minute, if I had to guess.
Rip, dude. I wasn't on it, but it sounds rowdy.
Oh, it was pretty good.
All right, moving on.
Good.
Next question. Sam Miller or no, Duke Adams again. Previous guy asking about the running. Have you ever worked with Marine infantry or recon Marines? No. I don't think I ever interacted with any. Sam, did you? You guys didn't do any in Iraq? Didn't see any Marines?
No, I mean, the only Marine that I personally know is one of my buddies from high school, and he's dumb as a box of rocks. So if that gives you anything.
I know that the regiment will do we'll send platoons to Marine Mountain Warfare School on occasion. Mm-hmm. But I think that's really the extent of our interaction with the Marine Corps. We don't really, I think that there might have been a little bit of, they might have been stationed on the same base in Kandahar. I think there were some Marine Raiders there in 2019. But I wasn't there. I was in Dwyer. We were in Dwyer. So, but I think that Marine Raiders were getting after it in 2019 from what I remember hearing about, but we didn't ever work with them directly. Sam Miller asking about new medics getting to regiment and why they aren't assigned right away. Like I said before, it's one, like there's not very many slots in the platoons or in the companies for medics. Like there's 4 platoons in a company and there's only 1 medic per platoon. So those are highly competitive slots. And you have to prove that you're not a complete fuck up and a complete idiot before you show up. So you spend some time in the headquarters company, getting trained, furthering your medical skills, proving that you're, a decent human being and a decent medic, and then you get pushed out to a company.
And just because you're in that company too doesn't mean that it's over. Like,
oh no,
there's dudes nipping right at your heels trying to get that slot from you. And if there's somebody better for that position, especially in regiment, they won't hesitate to replace. It's plug and play. They're constantly moving people around and just constantly shifting and changing and moving pieces around and trying to be make as lethal a fighting force as they can.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's competitive at the end of the day. Like it doesn't stop at RASP. Like it continues on. Like, yeah, it might be a little bit easier for line guys because there's more slots for us. But if you same thing, if you don't perform, like you're going to get moved to the arms room or you're going to get moved to supply, or if you don't get your ranger tab, you're going to get the boot kind of thing. So, and the medic is the most important job because, I would say probably one of the most important jobs out there because they bring you back alive. Like Ranger Regiment, I think in the record of the GWA, I think that they still have, we have 0 preventable combat deaths. Pretty sure that statistic still stands. And that's because our medics are literally the best in the world. And they can do things that no one else can do. And they're very good at it. And basically, if you can be saved, you will be saved. So it's a huge responsibility to bear. So that's why it's you don't get assigned to a platoon right away. Hopefully that answers your question there, Sam. Oh. Dude. And then there's a guy asking about getting into soft with just a green card. I'm pretty sure you can't get into soft with a green card because I'm pretty sure you have to be a U.S. citizen because you have to get a security clearance of secret. And I'm pretty sure one of the requirements for that is being a naturalized U.S. citizen.
Well, can't you? I think they're offering now, right? That if you do like or they always have maybe that if you do like a contract in the military, then
well, yeah, you can do it in the military, but he was asking specifically about SOF, like special operations, which I'm
okay.
pretty sure it wouldn't work out because you'd have to have a secret clearance, and part of that is being a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
So there's your answer. Get your citizenship, and then you should be able to get there.
Or don't take our word for it and go talk to your recruiter.
Yeah,
None of us know.
That would be my educated guess would be that. I'm like 99% sure that you have to be a U.S. citizen to have a secret clearance, which is part of the requirement to be in special operations. So I'm like 99%, but definitely go check it out. I'm not going to Google it right now. Who's your turtles and tortoises? This is the guy that asked about the Facebook group, and he is from Bico 375, which much respect. Our platoon sergeant came from there. Good guy. You guys are a bunch of hard asses over in 375. If you're still watching Mr. Turtles and Tortoises and you're willing to hop on the podcast, I haven't had a 375 guy on yet. So hit me up on Instagram or something, or comment down below with your Instagram and I'll hit you up. Were there any small guys in regiment? Yeah, Joe. Fucking 5'4" ass.
Yeah, it's
Leprechaun.
Funny. It's funny because it goes down every single time.
It does. Every time we have to bring up height, you lose an inch.
What was it whenever we actually measured? Does anybody actually know?
Well, you guys didn't show me what you measured. Yeah, no, you measured me, I think.
It was Sam.
Yeah, I know.
And you measured me, and then you didn't show me. You said I was 5'6", but I wasn't 5'6" because when I got into the military, I was 5'7". However,
the military's never lied to you, Joe.
No, here's the thing. Lied, dude. Here's the thing: is I don't know if I believe it because when because I'm in the Guard now. When I did the recent APFT or ACFT, sorry, like 2 months ago.
Did you grow, Joe?
You wrote your height in.
No, you know what they measured me at? Get this. They measured me at 5'6".
I can't wait.
5'6".
Guess what, Joe? I fucking told you. And you want to know why I couldn't show you? Because whenever you turn around to look at it, your head isn't fucking there anymore. So you can't see.
No, I refuse to believe that I lost 2 inches of height in 4 years. I just don't believe it. Or
hey,
6
dude,
years.
It's a tough life, dude. Spinal compression's real.
Duke Adams, to answer your question, yeah, I was a small guy in height, right? But I had a big heart, and I'm stronger than both of these guys. Okay, so let's get that straight. All right,
Joe, what's your current bench?
Whoa.
What's your current bench? You just said you were stronger than both of us. What's your current bench?
Right now, okay.
Right now, if you had to throw on weight on the bar and there was a gun to your head and you had to lift it, you had to beat me. What would you lift?
I couldn't tell you max, but I could tell you what I just did.
You can't tell me max?
I could tell you what I just did.
We'll do a 1 rep max calculator. So hit me with it.
So I did 275 for the 3x3.
Okay, so we'll do one set of 3 because that's all that counts.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. While you're doing your calculations,
291.
Joe is stronger than me.
Joe is stronger than you.
He was stronger than me, and he still is now. Because now I'm an old fat vet. You know.
The old fat realtor vet.
You guys fat vets. I'm still serving.
Vet.
Yeah,
Thank you for your service, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you for your cervix.
I'll actually say this, Duke Adams. To answer your question, actually, I would say probably a good 60-70% of people in regiment are about like between the heights of 5'8" to 5'10". I'd say that's pretty accurate.
I don't know, dude. There were some monsters.
Yeah, some.
There's a lot of monsters,
but a lot of them.
I would agree with Joe. I think there's a good portion from I think almost everybody, like 95% of the people in regiment, are like your, 5'6" to 6 foot, not super like huge dudes, not like overly muscular, not like super, one side of the spectrum or the other. And I guess 6 inches is a pretty big, like,
But like
sample size. 5'6" is 6 foot. 6 inches is pretty big, boys, right?
Hey, 6 inches is a lot when we're talking about certain things.
But yeah, no, I'm right now, whatever you want to say for height, 5'6", 5'7", and I'm like 160, 165. And
I mean, you got me on the proportion for weight though, for sure.
Yeah,
but I'm 200 and I'm doing 295, which is about your 1 rep.
But I would say you guys are on the like taller and bigger aspect as far as
like, I'm
everybody.
6 foot, so
like you looked at even just everybody in our platoon, most of them were like, obviously I was one of the shorter dudes, but most people were like
the
maybe
shortest.
Not the shortest. There's some few names I could toss out there, but I ain't going to do that, are shorter than me. But most people were like 5'8" to 5'10", but just a little bit like stockier frame, but like could still run, like an athlete type of shape. But 5'8" to 5'10", you had the people that were, 6 foot, 6'2", whatever. But most of them range in the average height, I guess, for Americans. But yeah, small guys can make it. It doesn't matter as long as you can meet the standards. And typically once you get to bat, if you didn't really work out before, your team leader and your tabs will get you working out.
They'll put you on trend and get you squared away.
Yeah. 3 weeks later, you're hopping on a full cycle of SARMs or trend, and a year later you're a full meathead and you're not running. You're running 47, 48 minute 5 miles.
Beefcake.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Best advice for imports. I don't know if you're asking that because you heard us previously shitting on imports. Don't do very weird. Well. Don't be fucking weird. Shut the fuck up. Learn your job. Don't act like jack shit when you show up, because we're gonna be doing things way different than you were taught in your unit. That being said, also don't be afraid to take a leadership role if it, like in a, out at the range or something. If you're, a tab D4 import, like if shit needs to get done and you know what to do, like don't be afraid to take charge and like show that you can actually, not be a fucking shithead. You can actually, get shit done. That's the biggest thing, is just try and integrate, be a member of the team. Don't be weird. Don't talk about your old unit at all, period. And you'll be all right. And then who's the Biko guy from 375? 0 death in the GWAT is large part due to Doc Andrew Fisher, which I haven't heard of him before, so I'm gonna pull him up. But he sounds like okay.
For sure, I've heard that name before.
So he was a 175 medic. And he, oh geez. So he was in the early stages of the GWAT. And he was kind of the person that figured out like low titer program, and using battlefield blood, and then using ketamine at point of injury. That's cool.
Respect.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely, for sure.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with your statement.
Joseph Thurston, would you guys join the Army in 2023 knowing what you know now? That's a hard one.
I probably would still.
I mean, it depends on what you want out of it, I think, at the end of the day. Like, I joined because it was a challenge, and I joined because it was going to be an adventure, and it's hard to find that nowadays. In our pussified, if you will, culture, and like there's not enough challenges or rites of passage for dudes out there. So if you're looking for it in that regard, then yeah, it's still, I think, a viable option. Just be aware that you might get pulled into a conflict that you don't necessarily, agree with morally or intellectually. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I still would. regardless, I mean, and with that being said, I am glad that I got out. But I think it also depends. If it was like kind of the same situation I'm in now with my wife and kids and stuff, probably would be a little bit more hesitant, just because, especially going to, 175, all the amount of time that you're gone and, not really home, probably would sway me a little bit. But if it was like going back in time, even knowing what I know now, even though there was a lot of shitty, stuff that we had to do, hindsight, it was actually kind of fun.
It was super fun.
And it really is what you make of it. And yeah, I mean, I probably would.
Good shit.
Yeah, I would add on that. Yeah, I would say the same thing too. I mean, for me, going to the military, it wasn't ever because, I mean, both my grandparents were drafted, but nobody in my family ever went into the military or anything like that. My dad always said he really wished he would have. You hear that a lot too with a lot of people as they get older. They always wish they would have. But for me, it was I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I feel like most people don't when they're 18 to 21-year-olds. They're going to college. Some people do know what they want to do, but most people don't. And the military provides a lot of opportunity to kind of give you that extra couple years to think about what you really wanted to do, as well as it sets you up for success. People look, whether you're applying for a job after the military, they see your resume, your experiences, and your personal experience, and what you're able to take with that and bring with you is unlike any other person who, civilian side, worked at McDonald's or worked at whatever. The amount of skills and traits that you can bring in to your personal life as well as your job or whatnot. Yeah, I think it's beneficial for everyone. Plus, you get the free college. Big people go into that. And so I think there's so many opportunities that the military provides. Whether you agree with, everything the military stands for, or like you guys said, with whatever conflict may arise. Once you get in there, you kind of realize that it's not much about the conflict that you're going after, but everybody that's around you and the amount of friends and brotherhood that you build up with everybody that you're able to take with you. That I could see, or I could not see how someone would not want to go into the military. In my aspect, when you're young, obviously, if you got family and kids, it's a little different. But if you're a single, male or female, and you don't really know what you want to do in life and whatnot, give yourself a 3-4 year gap to think about it, make some money, and go find interest in hobbies and do something. So that's what I would say.
And even if you are married and have kids, the Army has great benefits.
This is true. BH. Moving on.
Don't go down to Temptations and get married just for the BAH though.
Yes, just hold out for your E5 or someone that's actually worth it. Next one. I'm answering in the actual chat. Best Ranger Instagram accounts for memes. I'm scrolling through and I'm sending a bunch because there's some good ones.
Oh, 1 sec. I'm gonna take a step out for like 2 minutes. I gotta take my dog out quick.
Okay.
All right, I'll be right back.
Who's your integral? I'm 6 foot and was between 235 and 175, depending on how far out from school I was. Yeah, that's about right. 235 is pretty big. Right. It's 6 foot. That's some good muscle. Sam Miller asking more about Ranger medic stuff, day-to-day kind of thing. So dude, it's so varied that it's hard to say exactly what your day-to-day is going to be. But generally, you're gonna go in for PT at around 6 o'clock. You're gonna do PT with your medics, with your senior medic, probably more often than not. If you're a junior medic, if you're more of a senior medic, platoon medic, you'll probably do it with one of the other platoon medics, go on a run, go to the gym or something together, and then you are responsible for your platoon's medical readiness. So you're on med pros, making sure everyone's gotten their dentist appointment done and gone to get their hearing checked, kind of, shitty admin stuff. And then either training your platoon on RFR shit, or you're going to be going to continuing training as a medic. So there's, annual recertification you got to do. You could be teaching ARFR, which is Advanced Ranger First Responder. You could be going and providing med coverage for a training event, whether that be a jump or a live fire. And that's, pretty low stress and not a whole lot of stuff you got to do there. It's mostly just having, your aid bag and sitting in a van and hoping that no one gets hurt. And then deployment, like you're in charge of your boys, you're in charge of making sure they got their any kind of medicine they need, and then hooking them up with muscle relaxants.
Flex and plex, baby.
Flex and plex, dude. It's hard though. It's hard to say exactly what your day-to-day is, because it is very very different. And I wasn't a medic, so I don't know exactly, but I was friends with medics, so it is kind of a stressful life because there's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. Duke Adams asking, slowest 2 mile time you've seen in regiment. Good question. I don't know. It depends.
Yeah, they don't really. I mean, I don't want to say they don't care about 2 mile time, because they technically don't, as long as you can meet all the standards. But I guess
if you can pass the 5 miles, what they care about, and then if you can pass the RPAT, which you are running, it's 2 mile, or is it just 1 and 1? It's just 1 mile.
3.
Is it 3? Is it 2 at the beginning, 1 on the back end?
Yeah, so it's 1 out, 1 back, and then 1 at the very end.
Yeah, that's right. For some reason, I was thinking it was only 2.
No, it's definitely 3. I got it timed out to a science.
So we don't really test the 2 mile very often, except for EIB, and it's like, okay, you pass the EIB,
whatever, like the Army, whatever.
As long as you can run like a sub 15 2 mile, you're fine.
Yeah,
which is slow for a 2 mile.
And I don't think anybody really even there's definitely people that do run it, like the old first squad loop. But if you actually care about running, people don't really just run 2 miles, because once you're so conditioned to just running that 2 miles, once you get to that 5, it makes it that much harder. So I feel like a lot of people who actually run are doing kind of like what you and Joe were talking about earlier, like the 30-60s or 61-20s, or the half mile repeats, or stuff like that. They're not just really going out and testing 2 miles.
Yeah, it doesn't happen super often,
unless you have a asshole squad leader,
which can happen. That is a thing that can happen, in which case you better get it running 2 miles. Paul C, any experiences working with CSOR or JTF2? I'm pretty sure he's referring to JTF2s in the Canadian Special Operations. I will say that I have, swear it's like, I don't know. I will say that I have encountered them. I won't elaborate more than that, though, just because I know that they're pretty secretive. But from what I've heard, they're pretty cool dudes. They're pretty cool. The Canadians are cool. At least their special operations are. Saddam Hussein asks, most epic missions of the GWAT. Probably when Delta pulled your ass out of your hole that you were heading in, Saddam.
I was gonna say, you should know, brother.
You should know, dude. That's funny. Dude, the GWAT was so fucking long, like you can't really say most epic missions, and it's like epic isn't like, how do you define epic? Like that's kind of a silly question. But the coolest ones you're never going to hear about, and the ones that we know about we're not going to talk about, so sorry.
Vidkus, you want to read about some, go read Violence of Action.
Yep,
they have it on Audible, so you can listen to it too.
What was the question?
Saddam Hussein asked about the most epic missions of the GWAT, and then we told him when Delta pulled his ass out of the hole he was hiding in. It was one of the most epic missions. Troll account, but pretty funny. And then we told him to refer to Violence of Action to hear about cool missions. Vidkiss is 3.5 years of dealing with MEPS. Dude, I don't even know. Good luck. That shit's hard. I don't know your specific situation, bro, but MEPS is a pain in the asshole for some people, and then for some people it's literally the shortest part of their military careers in MEPS. Tiffany Ortiz, and on account here, also a Bico 375 guy as well. Got to the platoon right after Aries in 2013. Good shit. Sergeant Block, I think I mentioned in one of my podcasts, was one of my RASP. He wasn't a cadre. He was a guest at our Cole range, and he fucked us down pretty good. It was pretty fun. And then Hoosier and Turtles left in 06. So we got some older 375 guys here. That's cool. Hanging out with a bunch of young 175 frat bat kids.
I got a question for all the 375 guys out there. What is there to do in Columbus, Georgia? I've always wondered that. Like, what do you guys do? Like, you guys got a 4-day weekend. You got nothing.
Never been to Scruffy Murphy's, I see, brother.
No, I haven't. Anytime I was in Fort Benning or Columbus, Georgia area, it was not a good time. And it wasn't because I got to go out. It was because I was doing some type of training, some type of school. So I hate Fort Benning. So I'm always wondering, like, what Columbus, Georgia, like, life is like. What do you guys do?
I don't know. I feel like it's the same regardless. It is what you make it. I'm sure there's plenty of things to do over there.
Yeah, like to sleep with the chicks at Airborne School. That's one.
Respect.
At least from what I've heard, that's a common hobby. Trying to think of what else I've heard from 375 guys they do for fun.
Hoosier, can you confirm or deny?
Hoosier, how many Airborne chicks did you sleep with when you were in? Because I'm sure that it was, well, he left in 06, so I don't think they were letting chicks.
Who was the other one?
Tiffany Ortiz on his and on account. Yeah. If you're still here, other Bico 375 guy, how many Airborne chicks did you sleep with? And did you ever fuck any on the rocks at Airborne School? Because I definitely had that happen in my Airborne class. Not sure if the dude was a Ranger, but some chick definitely got boned in one of the PLF pits. Anyways,
beating these together, baby.
Hey, no, dude, that beating these not together. How long is Cole Range? What's it like? It's a week long. You do a 7-mile ruck, and then you get fucked down. You do land nabbed in the morning and the night, and then in between, both during the day and during the night, you're hitting the wood line, and you're holding your ruck above your head, and you're doing buddy carries, and you're hitting the trench, and you're moving the pit, and you're having a good time. It's really just it's really a good party, honestly.
Well, it changed actually shortly after our well, not shortly, but they changed it
back when it was hard though.
Yeah, back when it was hard. Yeah, back when it was hard, but now they changed it to you go to Cole Range twice. You go to
Cole Range twice, really?
You go in the second week there for a couple of days to practice land nav. They have you practice land nav, and then the fourth week is when they actually do the Cole Range grading.
Oh, no shit.
But I don't know what happens in the second week if it's a fuck down or not.
That's weird that they moved it to the fourth week.
Probably for guys like me who failed land nav the first time I had to do it again, they probably didn't want to see that happen. So
it's like, well, why
it doesn't surprise me at all.
We'll jump to Hoosier's question here. Hoosier and Turtles, one of the earlier Bico guy says in response to the question about what's there to do in Columbus, Georgia, fat chicks, hunting and fishing. And then the question about the Airborne chicks, he says a handful or more. I can't remember. Respect, brother. Tiffany Ortiz, Big Tiff, still here. He never raw dogged a lady in the PLF pits, but he did get tased behind the Zaxby's on post. That's fucking wild. I wonder, because there was that whole incident with 375 with a dude getting tased. This was when we were in. A dude got tased and fought off a female MP, like stole her taser and like escaped, and all of 375 got called down. and they didn't rat him out. I wonder if that's the same incident. You don't have to confirm nor deny a TIF. But it sounds like it's
MPs,
go ahead.
Are the MPs still not allowed inside the fence?
I would
over
hope
there.
not. I would hope
whenever
not.
I was going through, I heard a story of like MPs came for something, and I don't know if it was like a bunch of Ranger privates or what, like fucking cuffed him with his own cuffs or flex cuffed him or something, and they like held this guy hostage for I don't know how long. I don't know if that's a real story or not, but I know whenever I was going through RASP, they talked about it. So that was like, I don't know, 8.5 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we hear stories about that happening all the time. We'll move on to the next question. I mean, I'm sure that happens still. I mean, maybe not still, but I've definitely heard the same stories though. Is if MPs come into the Ranger compound, it's free for all. What are the Ranger Regiment push-up running standards? Push-ups, what is it? 72 running 5 miles in 40 minutes, and then sit-ups is what, 79 or 81?
78.
It's 78.
But I'll say this: use this quote with advisement. Exceeding the standard is the standard. All right. So if you're a private and you want to go to Ranger school or just don't want to get smoked, you better do more than 72 and more than 78 and run faster than a 40-minute 5 mile. Once you get your tab and you exceed through the ranks, it's less important. But like if you want to get
if you want to go to Ranger school faster and be ahead of your peers, you need to exceed the standard on a consistent basis.
Exactly.
E6 imports. Have you seen E6 imports? No, I have not. I don't think that they exist.
C5s, I think, right? I
think E5s. I don't ever see E6 imports because that's a critical job of a squad leader.
I'm almost positive that they have them.
I've never
I'm pretty sure that they do.
Last time I heard is that they got sent to RSC selection immediately, and if they didn't pass, I personally haven't seen any E6 imports because we like to raise our own. Like squad leader is such a critical role that you can't just get thrown into that position and then have two guys that know the job better than you underneath you. Like you're just going to look like a fucking incompetent piece of shit. At least in terms of 11 Bravo, I'm sure that they exist in other MOSs.
Well, I mean, just because you don't get that position right away, though, doesn't mean that they don't have them.
Right.
Like headquarters needs E6s, and just because you're, you might be an infantry E6, and they have you doing something in like one of the S shops or some shit. Okay, well, you're going to learn the job, and you're going to go OC, every single training event that we have, and watch what people do and whatever. So I'm sure it's a thing.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it.
Because even if, because what you're saying does make sense, but I mean, I feel like they're allowed to go to RASP 2 for a reason. You know what I mean?
Right. Bill Bonifer, you fellas care to share how you got your CIB? I can't. I actually have an NDA. At least for mine, and for I think Joe's.
I don't for mine.
You don't for yours?
No.
Because you got yours in 17, right?
So, yeah. I mean, really, just what were we doing? We were doing something, flying in a helicopter somewhere. And we like landed out of nowhere. I guess we were like 5 minutes from where we were staying, and some bird like flew into our fucking one of the engines. And then as we're getting, we run off the bird and get into our formation to defend the bird. And they're like, fuck it. We're just going to push through with the one. We all run back on. We start taking off. Then out of nowhere, the pilot's just evasive maneuver, popping off flares. And you see this fucking RPG just, and it's like, oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Good thing we got out of there when we did and we weren't on the ground.
Yeah. So
fucking sitting goose or sitting ducks.
Yeah, pretty bad or pretty lame way to go out, huh?
Pretty, yeah,
Just
right.
not being able to do anything.
Just cooking in the bird after getting blown up by an RPG. Yeah, it'd be a pretty shit
Not
way to
it.
go. That ain't it,
Not
Chief.
it at all.
It sucks because regiment, like our platoon, and I've mentioned this in other podcasts, and I think it was probably on both y'all's, but our platoon was just super unlucky when it came to regular ranger missions because we were pretty squared away as a platoon. Like we weren't fucking stupid. Like we were pretty good at what we did. So they'd always give us like you're gonna go work with you know, big brother, like because you guys are fucking not idiots. And then we never did shit with them. Do you ever see 40 to 50-year-old soft operators? Not in regiment. Not in regiment. I mean, unless they're, sergeant major. But not anyone coming in at 40 years old. I think there's an age limit.
The oldest I saw was 35.
Yeah. We're thinking of the same guy.
And he was an old dusty fuck.
He was undercover boss.
He was undercover boss. He was literally like the third oldest person in our battalion.
That's so fucking hilarious.
Well, I went to when I went to RASP, my second class, there's a guy who was a former ACO company commander, and he went from, what is that? Not green to gold, gold to green. It was enlisted, and he was 35 years old when he went through, but he also was in the best shape I've ever seen someone at 35 years old. He was running 30-minute 5 miles.
Jesus.
Everything. Yeah, he was insane. And I think he went to 375, where he got stationed, and as a E5, E5, whatever. So, and I think he's still there too, because I have a couple buddies there, whatnot. But yeah, 35, I think but he's probably like, I don't know if he's still in right now, but I'll go to Duke Adams' question. I got this pulled up. He said, was EIB hard?
We skipped that one.
Academic or physical based? Mainly academic. All you have to do for physical is just a 12-mile ruck in the
PT test.
The PT test. Hard wise, depending on where you do it. As long as it's like I'd say it's like studying for any test, right? You have that week of prepping. You do all the lanes with your walker. You do all the lanes and practicing whatever. Doing it in your off time too each day, just practicing, rehearsing, going over and over and over the motions. There is some of the events that you do that could mess you up, especially if you have habits of doing it one way and then you're taught a different way to do it for the EIB. But it kind of depends on where you go and if you have money to buy cases of beer.
Whoa, Joe.
Whoa.
Giving the secrets out. Dude, yeah. I got owed so many cases of beer when I was a fucking grader, and I only got like one. I had like at least like 6, and like I only got one. I was fucking furious.
Yeah, probably because they knew like, oh, this dude ain't gonna come for me. This dude's a little scared chicken. He ain't gonna do anything.
Oh,
trust but verify.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, we also, like when I was a grader, it was 2019, and then like we had Christmas, and then the beginning of 2020 happened. So it was like, ah, shit, I couldn't even collect,
Yeah, I collected up front.
Yeah, it's like you got to show up with that shit.
But I was also addicted to Copenhagen wintergreen, so
it's a little easier to carry around a bunch of cans or logs of that than cases of beer.
Yeah.
What's your experience with introverts? Don't label yourself as an introvert. First of all, it's a spectrum of introvert to extrovert. Like you're not one or the other, my guy. Typically, I mean, I was an introvert when I first showed up. I was fucking quiet, kind of fucking nerdy, like grew up Mormon, hadn't experienced, anything outside of high school until I showed up. And you learn how to come out of your shell very quickly if you want to be accepted and want to get along with your homies. and that's what your time in the barracks when you get off work is for recharging your social batteries. But when you're at work, don't be fucking weird. Rashad
They'll pull
Johnson.
you out.
They'll pull you out. Like you will come out of your shell.
A little too much sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little much. And then it's Jenks says 2A is better than 3A. I don't know I don't know who it's Jenks is, but nah, you're wrong.
But fuck you.
But fuck you. hit me up on my Instagram. It's Jenks. Let me know who you are. But you're wrong. Rodrigo Villanueva. I was on the OG Team BAF in 2014, 2015 after the battalion-wide deployments got shut down. Pretty crazy. It lasted till the end of Afghan. Yeah, I mean, they weren't doing much towards the end, but 2019 Team BAF got after it. 2020 Team BAF did not get after it. And 2021 Team BAF got the fucking dick and they had to shut it all down.
Well, weren't they shutting? They started shutting it down in 2020. A beginning.
Sort of.
Yeah, because when, or no, that was even. So when me and a couple other people, when we were at Dwyer, when we went back in later 2019, we got back there. There was like talks, like people were already kind of starting, like that had when it was just starting to like tearing down, like BAF and stuff is when they had just started tearing. So if I remember right, I don't know. I was only there for 2 weeks and I played Shadow Raid Legends with
DGen
for 2 weeks straight.
Oh, what a good fucking game! What a good game. Do you remember the week span where we just sat there playing all day long?
That was like, I think it was right after we got back from Dwyer, and for like that first week, all we did was play PUBG Mobile for 3 hours, because it was literally just you, me, and the other team leader. We literally just sat there for like 3-4 hours.
Fucking Bob, dude.
Yeah, just sat there for 3-4 hours playing PUBG Mobile. Go get lunch at the hibachi place, and then go back.
Heyo.
Or
Heyo.
Yeah, Heyo. And then
it's closed now. It's not open anymore.
I know. And then we'd come back, play PUBG Mobile, or we go to his room and then play some Smash Bros or whatever for a couple hours. And yeah, we did that for like a week straight. Heavy. Yeah. Shadow Raid Legends too. I remember that.
Do you have Duke Adams? Do you have to be smart to be in regiment?
I've seen some dumb
There's some fucking rock eaters. You don't gotta
I'm
be
not the
super
smartest
smart.
person in the room, but Jesus Christ, there are some dumb fucks.
If you're good at your job, if you're good at learning shit that doesn't require a whole lot of book smarts, you'll be fine. Like, you don't have to be book smart to be in regiment, if that's kind of your definition of smart. You do have to be able to learn, and you do have to be able to perform the skills required of you, but that's about it. And know a little bit about Ranger history, like memorize a few dates, memorize a few names. But unless you're a complete idiot, we're not going to have you writing essays on shit. Which, did we have people? I feel like we made some dudes write essays on First Squad. Did we ever do that?
I did.
You did.
Don't you remember the time that guy went up to his room?
Oh.
You don't remember that already?
Slept in the chair.
The one time that you probably ever heard me scream at somebody.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, that was good. That was funny. Must have been the time I was thinking of, because I feel like there was a time where someone
that was the time.
Yeah.
Because our normal punishment was we're just gonna make up for it with sweat and pain.
That was fucking hilarious. And he was a tab too.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I was fucking pissed.
More backstory. We won't say his name, but we were cleaning weapons after a live fire week. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. And everyone's fucking tired. Everyone's fucking poopy. This guy had just come back from Ranger school. And we're cleaning weapons, and he just leaves his saw with one of the privates, and it says, "I'll be back" or something. And he goes to his room and he fucking goes to sleep, takes a nap, like in the middle of the fucking workday. That's what happened, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was up front making sure that was all we had to do to leave.
Right.
And when
That was the only thing we had to fucking do.
When I came back, I had heard people talking about their group that went out drinking that night. And I come back and, didn't even think anything of it. I was like, oh, he's probably in the bathroom. Well, then we're cleaning and bullshitting. And like an hour later, I'm like, hey, where is this fucking guy? And I'm like, go find him. So then, the boys start running around looking for him. I was like, go up to his fucking room. If he's up there, tell him he has fucking 30 seconds to get down here. And then, of course, it was a private I set up. So, of course, he's like, yeah, fuck you.
So, Sam Miller, any of you guys or friends bang an officer?
No, I never did.
I have a friend that did it on Team Bath in 2016 when he was a private, allegedly. I'm pretty sure that he did it. He doesn't lie about things. It wasn't a soft officer, or someone that he met outside of Camp Alpha on Team Bath. So respect to him. I don't know if he's watching or not, but you know who you are. There was a Navy officer that I met at Saddlebags who didn't bang, unfortunately, but it was real close. But yeah, none of us have banged any officers. Have you, Sam Miller? Have you banged an officer? Travis, if World War III popped off or some other major conflict, would y'all go back to regiment? I mean, it would be, yeah, I would hope that I would be able to get back, because that's the only fucking group of dudes I'd want to fucking go die with.
It's Jinx.
It's Jinx.
That's not how you spell my name, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, dude. There's not.
Now
I
want you to DM. I want you to DM Allred too. So now I want to know.
Well, he has. I know who it is. I'll text y'all so we don't dox his ass.
If I gave you your first room inspection, I must have been one of the only people back at the time.
I texted y'all.
So
we don't dox him.
Yeah, I would say I'd go back to regiment if World War III popped off, if it had any involvement with us per se, like in the factor that, like, with the war in Ukraine and Russia, I wouldn't really care to, because it doesn't really involve the US per se as much as 9/11 did and all that happened. Now, if something directly was a threat to us, whatever, 100% go back, 100%. But I don't think so anyway, otherwise, because too old and broken.
Yeah.
Bro, the amount of time it would take me to get back into Ranger shape, the war would be over.
Well, hear me out, boys.
You gotta stay ready. Shoot.
Yeah, if you just came to the guard side,
stay ready to eat a fat stack of wings.
Came to the guard side, you'd always be mission ready, brother. All right, you'd be ready.
Joe, shut the fuck up.
Do you want me to clear this room for you, Joe style?
We do got to talk about eventually after all these questions is.
Oh yeah, we gotta get to the fun shit.
How I smoked shoemade in a rap battle. All right, we'll get.
I have the videos.
I was gonna bring that up.
I have the videos.
Hey, listen, I know how to do movies and shows and podcasts. All right, we're gonna keep the viewers waiting at the edge of their seat for when we start talking about it. All right?
I just want to say,
the edge of the seat.
One of us used to be a SoundCloud rapper, and the other one didn't. All right.
SoundCloud's really not a thing anymore. Nobody listens to music.
Shut the fuck up, Joe. No, it's definitely still a thing, because I still listen to SoundCloud rappers. All right, so
yeah, just shows how much you know about the rap game.
Exactly, he knows nothing. Zero, zilch. I'm bringing up. I'm gonna transfer these to my Google Drive, and then we're gonna fucking watch this rap battle if I can Mr. Producer it. This is my first live YouTube show, so
yeah,
It's a little
I'll
rough.
That's actually awesome that you still have that.
I did too.
I'm trying to dig them up. When did that happen? Was it after Iraq 2020? No, it wasn't. It was before.
Because right after is when I went over to
here it is.
To the third squad.
Yeah.
Dude, Sam, you look so young.
So young and full of life.
So young. Yeah, that was so happy.
That was almost 2 kids ago.
Damn, son.
I'll answer some questions too while we're at it. So Duke Adams said, "How often were you required to swim in regiment?" I hate swimming. Duke Adams, right there with you, brother. All right, I'm from born and raised in Minnesota. Never been a swimmer really. You have to do the basic swim test. That's like you get pushed into the water with your kid on, take it off real quick and swim 25 meters.
Yeah,
if you've ever been in a pool, you can do it. So you don't need to be a good swimmer. And then we did do a jump into Tybee Island. Yeah, that sucked. But if you can at least swim, just know how to swim, not tread water, just swim. Like your life depends on it, you'll be fine. It's super easy. I hate swimming. I suck at swimming and I'm fine. And then you said, if you didn't go to regiment, what other SOF unit would you have joined, such as GB, CCT, PJ, SEALs, Recon, MARSOC, and etc.? You guys have any other?
I would have done Green Beret. I mean, probably try to go 18 X-ray myself. Like I was looking at that initially, and then I realized that shit fucking takes forever. And I was like, I want to go to war, and regiment gives you the fastest pipeline to that shit. Honestly, if I couldn't pick Army, I hate to say it, boys, I probably would have tried to go SEAL. I hate to say it. If only if our Army wasn't an option.
Well, yeah, brother. You know how much you'd make off of
book deals? Yes, sir.
Dude, honestly, like I would have loved to have been a SEAL, but I cannot do the water. That's literally why I went Army. I was there like even before every like special operations and everything. I just wanted to join the military, and I was like thinking about going to be doing the Navy and the whole aspect, but I was like, dude, I hate the water. I hate swimming. I hate everything about the water. Like no bueno. So no for me. But I actually almost had an 18X X-ray contract instead of an option 40, because I think I talked about it on the podcast, but they told me initially that there was no infantry contracts when I went to enlist. And when the recruiter came back, he said I got an option 40 contract. And but they also had an 18 X-ray too available. He said, but he pretty much told me like, yeah, everything, the pipeline and everything's shorter for option 40 and it's Army Ranger. And I knew more about Rangers than I did Green Berets and everything. And so that's why I went option 40. But yeah, if I couldn't do option 40 in regiment, I probably would have done the 18 X-ray. But I feel like with that whole contract too, because I did a bunch of research before, I feel like trying to do that compared to an option 40, like right after basic, is way different. Like way different. And I feel like you need a lot more. I feel like you just need more time in the military to do something as far as like JB goes compared to option 40, at least in my opinion. But I guess I don't really.
Well, a lot of the dudes get dropped in, like, if they made it through SFAS, they got dropped in SUT because they were fucking too stupid, or like they didn't have the experience to run small unit shit, and so they ended up going to regiment anyways.
Yeah.
All right, I have the videos. I'm uploading them to my drive.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and answer one of these questions.
One of the ladies, the lady is back. Go ahead.
Curtis has been waiting for I don't even know how long.
Oh, sorry, Curtis.
How long is pre-rasp? My son turns blue next week. Then heads to pre-rasp. Thanks for the great content. I mean, I went through back in like 2014, so it might be a little bit different. I think my pre-rasp was like 3 weeks. And then it was pretty much, hey, we have this many people in pre-rasp. We only have this many slots. We're going to do a PT test to see who gets to go to RASP. So mine was like 3 weeks, but it varies probably class to class. I don't know about you guys.
Mine was about was about 2.5, 3, probably, I think, as well.
Mine was 4 and 4. Exactly. 4 weeks and then 4 weeks.
Yeah, because you recycled, because you can't find your way
So-
in the woods.
Yeah, I would expect a few weeks, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it can be longer though, depending on time frame, but
Yeah.
it shouldn't be longer than 4, if I was to guess.
How many?
Hopefully he's still here. I feel bad because I saw that and I was like, oh, that's an easy question to answer, and then I forgot about it because someone was asking about fucking fat chicks and shit. So
how many people did you guys go through RAS with? Like, out of curiosity.
we started with, I don't even remember. I think it started about 150.
150.
I think we started with like 120, and then I think we ended with like 50 something.
Yeah, because I was just kind of wondering, because the first class I went was 162, and then the next was 172. So it must have progressively gone up over the years.
Well, they just let anybody join that back in the year ago, huh?
Whoa, I know my first class, if I didn't get recycled for land nav, because that class that I went to, the first one, graduated with 12 out of 162. But we had like 40 heat cats, and a bunch of people got in trouble for the heat casualties and whatnot. So, and they changed it up. They changed it up then, because like that second time I went through, they that's when they started doing all the cameras, like recording and shit, because there was like some investigation that was going on about like the heat casualties. But we also we did the rocks. We sat on the rocks, and it was July and August in Georgia, and I said this on the podcast too before. Minnesota boy can make it without heat catting. All right, why can't anybody
bunch of
else?
fucking tiny hearts, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the wizard a couple times, but I took him to
Dude,
drink
that
water.
wizard is a fucking ugly bitch, dude. I fucking hate that guy. I've seen him.
I've
seen that motherfucker in Ranger School. I've seen him. I think
just don't look at him in the eyes.
So if you don't look him in the eyes, you're fine. Like, it's not, you'll be fine. You were there for the TFT we did in Dahlonega in 2016, right, Shu? It was like right after you got out of Ranger School.
It literally, I just graduated Ranger School. A week later, they said, "Hey, we're going to Dahlonega." I was like, "Oh, go fuck yourself."
Oh, fuck. I saw the fucking wizard on that one, dude.
There was one that we did. There was one that we did in Kentucky in 2015.
It was the same.
I don't think you guys were there.
Oh, I've heard about the Kentucky one where you guys were going through the cornfields.
The amount of people that were, it was like, sniper. People were just beep, 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 dropping down.
Yeah,
it was wild, bro. We finished our squad. I think we had like 4 people left in our squad.
Yeah, I just heard horror stories from that, like with the 2 privates that were in my squad. Well, the forever private, and then big ol' you know who I'm talking about, right?
Sorry, say it again. I was zoning out.
The 2 privates that were in first squad when I showed up.
When you first got there?
Yeah, the saw gunner, the eternal saw gunner,
heavy sweater.
Yeah, both of them we'd be like sitting in the barracks, like the few times we hung out in the barracks, and they'd be like, "Dude, Kentucky was so bad." I was like a new private. I'm hearing this, I'm like, "Oh my fucking god, I'm gonna die."
Dude,
it's like we walked for fucking 24 hours.
I remember one of them. The one that I'm thinking of. Oh yeah, he went down like a fucking sack of shit, dude. Which, he sweats. Because whenever I first got there, do you remember the story that I told about whenever I first showed up and they were like, "Hey, follow this guy, don't lose him."
Yeah.
He was one of them. He was the guy that they're like,
"Oh,
follow
really?
him, don't lose him." Yeah,
motherfucker.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, what the fuck?
Oh, these fucking, because I'm streaming, these damn videos don't want to upload to my Google Drive, so I don't know if we'll be able to do rap battle tonight.
Well,
another time. We'll keep moving on. Ned White, I see this lady asking about Green Sword in the chat. I was on GS1 with Biko 375. I'm down to come on the pod, clear the air about that up. I mean, if you want to, bro, like that's not necessarily my thing to talk about. So if you want to come on and talk about it, if you don't reveal too much of the secret shit, I guess. Because there is public open source information about that I've found. So hit me up on my Instagram, Ned White, the Zach Red. We'll figure something out because that'll knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Ranger school stories that are funny. All of them. All of them are funny.
Well, I don't know if my statute of limitations is done yet for my.
Yeah,
Ranger school.
you have some stuff that you can't talk about. You were up to some shiesty shit.
Uh,
Tell the
if
one
anyone-
about it was mountains. That was you and it's hard to think of nicknames for people that don't have nicknames on the fly. But you went through with them.
Text it to me. Text his name to me.
Yeah. I just remember hearing stories about it from you and you guys went together.
Tell me the general.
You guys were on an ambush and you guys were both in leadership positions and you guys both were just like, fuck this.
Oh, dude. Didn't give up, but it was definitely a what the fuck are we doing moment. It was literally, I mean, we had just walked. I mean, I don't even know how far. Yeah. And pretty much the whole time we were like, our PL was like, hey, we have to hit the objective by this time. We have a no later than time. Like, this is it. We're like, okay. So we're literally pushing our dudes. Like, come on, man, we gotta go. The security squad leader doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So we're like adjusting him on the go. And I think there were three Rangers who were in some sort of leadership position that day. And so we're just like, herding the cats. Come on, boys, we gotta go. Well, we get to the ORP, and I'm telling my guys to get all their stuff, ready. And because we have like 10 minutes till the no later than time. And I find the platoon sergeant, and I'm like, yo, where's the PL and where's this guy? We got to start, go do a quick leaders recon and then come back and get our fucking guys out there. He's like, oh, I just counted him out at the 6 o'clock. And I said, what? I was like, the 6 o'clock? What the fuck are you talking about? Oh yeah, I just counted him out to 6 o'clock. So me and, one of my buddies who's in, one of the other squad leader positions, just go waffle stomping out the 6 o'clock. I got to count you out. Fuck you. Just keep walking. I walked past the SNL. They're like, hey, what are you doing? Shut the fuck up, asshole. Keep going. They're literally, if anyone has been to Florida and Ranger School, you know that there is a like observatory out by like whatever the airfield is or whatever, wherever it is, right by the camp. There's like an observatory, huge observatory, and it's by a couple of objectives. And I see these fucking dumbasses kneeled down, trying to plan shit out. And I just walk over them. What are you two doing? Get the fuck down, dude. Come on, we're right by the objective. I said, what do you think the objective is? He said, right here. I said, no, that's a fucking observatory. Get your fucking shit, pick everybody up, come with me. And they're like, well, we already kicked out, far side security. They're way the fuck over there. So it's like, whatever, dude. Like, we'll get them on the fucking way out, I guess. And they're like trying to radio for him, and of course they're not getting it because none of your radios work. And so we fucking sprint out to this objective with like, I don't know, 2 minutes left. Get everything set up. We hit it. We get a follow on, and of course it's the follow on. I don't remember exactly what they call it, but where the RTO is pretty much taking notes of everything. And so I have no idea what is going on. I just know that we have to walk this direction for about 700 meters, and then we should hit some other objective. And we're walking, we pass this road, scroll the road real quick, and we walk about like another 50 meters. And I'm looking around. I'm like, there's no fucking objective. Like, there's no buildings here. There's nothing here to hit. There's literally nothing. And we're all taking a knee, and the RI comes up and starts asking people how far they think we are from the objective. And people are like, oh, we're about 400 meters. No, we're about 350 meters, whatever, just everyone. And I'm like, where the fuck do you guys think we are? We have been walking for long enough to where we're there. And literally as I'm standing up, this fucking I think it might have just been like a Jeemer pulls up with like a 240 mounted and just starts, I just lay down on the ground and I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, guy. Because now we're like split on this road, the leader's recon from like the main element. It's like, dude, this is so fucking dumb. And so we just kind of sat there for a second and we're like, dude, fuck this sucks. And we ended up taking so many casualties on that there were, I think, 6 people out of like our 38-man platoon that were alive. Because in the middle of everything, the platoon sergeant starts setting up a fucking hasty CCP 25 meters away from this fucking 240. And so of course the RIs are, yeah, you're fucking dead. Yeah, everybody's fucking dead. And it's like, what the fuck is going on, dude? It was so bad. After that, I was like, dude, there's no way anybody is good to go after this. So I literally just went up to all my boys and was like, hey, go the fuck to bed. Eat your shit. Go the fuck to bed. I'm taking the L. Like, everybody was there. We all know. I'm taking the fucking L. You guys just, let's get some sleep, set it up for the next guy, and let's not fuck him like you guys fucked me, huh?
Oh Lord.
Yeah. But there are some better ones. I don't know how long I necessarily have to wait for
we could go on about Ranger School stories for.
They're already out. I don't know if you guys remember a couple years back on that Hoodlums and Brigands, when during like where you guys had to go over to Fort Stewart.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, like there was like a post that went out from them, like somebody typed up like on like the
Instagram page,
some like note page or something.
Oh yeah.
And typed out this whole story. And I was like, okay, who the fuck just typed this? Because there's fucking like 8 people that should know this fucking story. But
I'm gonna go rip a wicked piss of mates. Y'all hold it down. Answer some of these questions. Someone asked about a Ranger School or a Ranger unit in the National Guard, which no, that's never gonna happen.
Not a thing.
You guys explain why.
Well, that actually possibly is happening. So I've been hearing the rumor around that's been possibly coming to fruition, because essentially what regiment is thinking about doing is the same thing as what SF or Green Berets or whatever you want to call them doing in order to make up for the amount of numbers. So if you're tracking that the whole army as a whole has like I don't remember what percentage that they didn't meet their quota for the year as far as like getting dudes in. But regiment is talking about opening up like guard units that way that they can still meet the numbers as far as people, but also still have people that are able to, and if need be, to deploy. So that's been a thing that I've been hearing, especially at the guard unit and whatnot, is that they're possibly talking about doing, just because need more guys, and especially to meet numbers and to still, I mean, I think personally, and I think with a lot of people, you could probably disagree with this, Sam, possibly, but I feel like a lot of guys get out of regiment because of how many times you're gone and how schedules are never the same. You're constantly going here, you're constantly going there. And a lot of guys want to get out and go pursue other things, but they would still miss being a ranger and love to be a ranger. So being able to do that, even if it's just 1 week in a month or whatever their tempo would be, but to still be part of regiment, but not as necessarily full time, maybe like a part time thing. I definitely would have went ranger guard instead of my guard unit for sure. And I think a lot of people also that were getting out of regiment would have done that per se. And so I don't know, but yes, that is a possible rumor, but I cannot confirm or deny if it will happen.
That sounds like an absolute disaster.
It sounds like I don't know what y'all talked about beforehand, but I don't think it's going to
because-
happen. It's a lifestyle. You
because
can't make it a weekend thing.
No,
Exactly.
but
And you have to think about the people who come into regiment, right? Like we were talking about earlier, it's not older dudes, right? Typically it's the shortest pipeline. You don't have to necessarily have any like real world experience because like we were talking about, they rather you be a clean slate so that they can, embed all their knowledge in you and not have to worry about you having any bad habits. So just think about some of the guys that we have had, some of our privates.
Some fucking idiots
That instead of
fucking
coming
Jack
straight to
Sparrow.
us, right, they go to a Ranger National Guard unit instead.
Well,
and you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but they could definitely do it where
The only way that would work is if it is either you have to have at least some dudes there who are like full-time guard, who are active guard.
Well, that's what we
even think about it. And you need to have like the first people who are actually making up the unit be dudes who are either fresh out of bat or whatever. Like you can't just, I don't know. I think that I don't think it's a good idea just because the training tempo, like all Red was saying, like you
couldn't get to the level of proficiency that you need to be.
You can't.
There's National Guard SF, which.
Well, I'll add this. So there's definitely like in the guard that we like the guard, whatever, there's this thing called AGR, which is like active guard reserve component, right? So we got guys that are active, but in the guard full time, like, whether it's readiness, NCO and stuff like that. But no, I definitely agree. It would have to be, I know you can't really trial and error it, but I think the only way it would work is if you had, you have those full-time dudes that maybe whether, once you hit whatever position, instead of going to be in a cadre or whatever, vice versa, you go and do this for a year or two, and you have only recruiting people, not necessarily sending them to RASP and then immediately going to that guard unit, but having just people that are getting out from regiment that did a contract and coming there would be the only way. Well, would they really have a sufficient amount of numbers? I don't know the statistics and data and whatnot, but I would say probably at least like 30-40% of people getting out of regiment would probably go to something like that instead of, doing other guard units or whatever type of thing. But would it work? I don't know. But I've just been hearing rumors that that's what they're possibly thinking about doing.
I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, especially without a big conflict going on right now, I think it'd be hard to get people to want to do something like that. Now, also maybe
regular regiments already having retention issues. The Army as a whole is having retention issues.
Well, that's what I was saying.
To try and stand up a Ranger National Guard unit and to get them the right amount of funding, even if they, took all of regiment's hand-me-downs in terms of equipment and shit.
Well, no, that's the whole reason why they're planning on doing the Guardian is to meet the numbers still, so that they get the funding. That's the same way every guard unit works. Whether guys go AWOL or guys, whatever, they try to keep as much people as they can on paper because whatever state it is as far as the guard, they get paid off of the amount of dudes they have there. And so if they have 100 dudes and only 80 are showing up, they're still going to keep the other 20 dudes on paper because they get more money for training, more money for ammunition, et cetera, et cetera. So it makes sense financially and logically to have it. Would it work efficiently and skillfully? Probably not, but then again,
you're just Joe Schmo, dude.
Yeah, I'm not fucking general fucking whoever, I don't know shit.
Joe, you ooze efficiency.
Oh, I do.
Efficiency oozes out of every pore of your body.
My buddy, the pores are in the guns. Who's one of my buddies here. We was talking about the fucking seeing the wizard skill issue. He says, "Yeah, sure,
It's true.
it's true.
Yeah, hey, it's true." And you guys know my philosophy on water. So, and just for everybody else, I'll tell you a little.
Water's a crutch.
Water is a crutch, and if you heat catting is all about like everybody in regiment has heat catted. Whether you show it or not, that's a different thing. But everybody in regiment has heat catted. I don't care who you are, what you were doing. Somebody has, one time or another. And it's just, and I guess it depends because some people literally fry their brains, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think that I'm not a doctor either, so don't take this as medical advice.
I thought you were a doctor.
No, not yet.
Well,
RFR certified or ARFR certified, but that's
basically a doctor. You're more doctor than some doctors.
You want to say water is a crutch, but if I
go fuck yourself. I know what you're gonna say.
If I recall correctly,
it wasn't me, you son of a bitch.
What do you recall, Joe?
Well, I just recall that we did this training event. I think it was no, it wasn't Company Live Fire. Maybe it was. I don't remember. But we did this mission, right? And then we had a down helo. And I just remember that before we were waiting to extract the casualty, right, in exfil, I was taking a knee, pulling security like a good tap does with a saw. And I had my camelback full of water as a good soldier. And all of a sudden, one of my team leaders and someone else came up to me, and because all they brought was a little water bottle, and they mainly used it for a spitter, and came and drank my entire fucking camelback. So then when I went in and did the down helo part, and I get all the brown on all the dust and dirt and shit in my mouth and stuff, and I go to drink some of my water because I'm thirsty. There's none left. They drank my entire camelback. You guys were just taking portions, like one person, yep, sweet, pass it off to the other, sweet. And you guys were going back and forth till I had no water left because you guys didn't want to carry it.
Oh my God.
Whether Shume admits it or not, I don't know if it was him or if it was, apparently he said it was you, Screech, and I think Bob, but I don't know.
If it's the same mission
there.
If it's the same mission I'm thinking about, I was guzzling water from one of my privates, not you, because I was a team leader, I think, at this point. And I think it was the same. And I was like, fuck it. I think I threw up.
Guzzling water. So who do you think it was, Joe? I did take some.
We got to get drink. We should have gotten Bob on for tonight.
No, you definitely were.
Bob's on the night shift, brother.
Oh,
He's
that's
not
right.
going on.
You were nice about it. You drank what you needed to drink, and you didn't drink anymore. Bob said, "I'm gonna run your shit dry, brother." Is what he did, because I remember my mouth was so like cotton mouth, and I went to reach for that, and there literally was like nothing. And I was like, "Bro, come on, man!" Like,
you want to know how I know that it wasn't me too? Because on that back, just little like utility pouch that I had, I would carry 2 extra bottles of water. So I know it wasn't me, you son of a bitch.
JM asked, did you see the UFO with these guys? All right. So one of my first videos on the channel was telling my UFO story. Joe, you were there for that.
Yeah, it was, brother.
Yeah. You remember the UFO?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. It was fucking weird.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Been seeing crazy shit up here in Dahlonega, man. Like,
you seen any skinwalkers yet?
Yeah, okay, listen.
Any deers walking on 2 legs?
Well, first of all, I got 2 stories, short stories, but so I went to take.
Tell them quick.
So everybody, I got a chocolate lab. Her name's Casey, right? And I went to take her out last night, or no, 2 nights ago. And so I got a little fencing yard, but then we go out of the fencing yard and live in the woods. And so walking down the driveway, and she goes off in the woods, and I brought my gun with because it's got the brightest light on it. And
show your gun. Dry fire at the camera real quick.
I don't got the light on it right now, but yeah, just I got a Streamlight TLR7, right? And so all of a sudden I hear some walking in the woods, like right next to her. And I'm like, what the heck? So I shine my light over and I literally just did a scan and I see eyes, like about 12 sets of eyes, literally a whole family of freaking deer. And so then yesterday, right, I take her out again and I kid you not. And like, so we got cows kind of next to us. So we hear like, moos and dogs that are constantly like barking stuff. But I swear, I heard an old lady like screaming yesterday, like screaming out loud, like in the woods area, which I got like, I mean, you've been to my house. There's a good portion of woods down there. And I heard loud screaming, man. And I don't know. I've heard stories of, the staircase and the skinwalkers out here, bro. And longer I've been here, I don't know. Appalachian Mountains, a little sketchy.
Dude, Appalachians are fucking old. Like they're older. I forgot what the stats are on the Appalachians, but they're older than the Rockies, and they're the only reason they're shorter than the Rockies is because they've been around for so long they've eroded down to where they are now.
Well, dude, there's cannibalistic tribes and shit out here, dude. Like, dude, yeah. Appalachian Mountains, not for the weak, bro. Not for the weak of heart.
JM says that it's a fox, Joe, that you heard, which I believe. Foxes sound fucking crazy.
Listen, I've seen the foxes and heard rabbits and all that shit.
Have you heard foxes, though?
Yes, bro. Bro, I've been living here for
Joe. What does the fox say?
Oh.
I don't know, Joe. I think tonight, now that you've told the world your story, you're gonna wake up and go to let Casey out, and there are just gonna be deer heads in a pentagram in the front of your deck. So good luck with that.
Joe's gonna die. Joe, you're dead, dude. Sorry, dude.
Dude, listen, I tell you what, right now, if I were to die to some actually, I'll take this back. To go back to the RASP and Ranger School stories too, because this pertains to it. So, the day before I went to RASP, like, because I was in pre-RASP, somebody had like a weekend break, take that back. We had that weekend off before Coal Range, and the movie that I watched right before we left was Blair Witch Project. Right,
you idiot.
This is partially why I failed my land nav. Is my first iteration, right? It was a night to day, but for those first 2 hours, it was pitch black. And I just watched the Blair Witch Project, and for everybody who's seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But I literally was walking, man, and I swear I heard my name being called, and I was looking around. Like if you ever had basement stairs to go up to your house. And your dad would be like, hey, go grab me something. And you're a little kid. You go and grab that thing, and it's nighttime, and you're sprinting up those stairs because you think, something's behind me. Something.
Did you feel something crawling up after you?
Dude, I was walking for probably like 30 minutes feeling like that. And I literally had my red lens on the whole time. I was like, I'm not doing this right now. Like, whatever. So if I were to get attacked by that, I've seen it. Look, I'm a big horror movie fan. I fall asleep to Halloween every single night. I know how to survive those type of situations. All right. And it's called not staying and looking. It's fucking running. And I'm getting in my car, and I'm not going to pretend that my car isn't going to work. And I'm going to have my guns with me. Okay. And I'm going to shoot.
Don't do what every other white person in a horror movie does.
Oh,
sound.
Wait, what was that sound? We got to go see it.
Let me get my recorder out real quick and shine the light to see. Oh, wow.
Joe, you were probably hallucinating so bad.
Oh, I was. I was singing.
You guys ever drone and just start seeing shit?
Oh yeah. I talked to trees multiple times.
Dude, I remember like walking up, and it was they're like, hey, don't go within however many feet of other people, or else you're going to think you're cheating. I remember like going up, and I saw like this log on the ground, and I look over.
Hey, how many points have you found?
I see somebody sitting at the edge of the log, and I was like, I'm gonna sit over here so they don't think that we're cheating. Just looking, and like I go up to ask a question, and it's just nothing. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? It's like I just got to get up and walk around, bro. This is too much.
I got two funny droning slash stories.
Save the question. Save that for a second. We'll answer this real quick. Duke Adams asked, we're behind. We're a little behind on questions. We'll answer this one. Who runs the platoon? The PL, the platoon sergeant, for the most part. The platoon sergeant's gonna fucking dictate how things go. The PL's there for like the admin shit and for like the officer side of things. But platoon sergeant is he's been there longer and he knows how things work in regiment. At least for the times that we were there, it's kind of shifted now, unfortunately, towards more officer centric.
And then to caveat off of that, I just saw your other question. I mean, really, it depends. From what I've seen, I feel like besides like your kind of anomalies, I feel like realistically, if you kind of pull everyone from this group and average it from like the privates, tabs, NCOs, I feel like the privates are probably the most fit guys because they don't have a choice. That is literally their one job, is to be fit. You need to not fall out of any runs. You need to, then kind of going back to what Joe said, however long ago, whatever about exceeding the standard is the standard. Like that's they live and breathe that.
That being said,
I would say
all the PLs are fucking studs though too. Like for the most part, all the ones that we've had that I can think of in 3 Alpha, they were, except for maybe one that I can think of.
We had some good PLs too.
They can all run.
We had the Alpha male.
We did have the Alpha male.
Were you guys there for him?
Yeah, I was there. I was there for him. Alpha male of fucking battalion, dude.
I actually saw him probably back in November in Colorado.
Hell yeah. Is he still in, or he got out, didn't he?
No, he's out.
Yeah. Sorry, Joe.
Bring the juice, boys. Bring the juice.
Your question on hold, or your story's on hold just a little bit longer. Fierce firefight where you thought you might not make it back. We didn't ever get into any crazy firefights, unfortunately, in 3 Alpha, which is really sad to say. But there was a few times where we didn't think we were not gonna make it back, which we can't talk about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, well,
we have NDAs on the one that we thought we wouldn't make it back, where we thought, oh, this is it. And dudes that didn't smoke cigarettes were smoking cigarettes. We're like, oh shit, this is real.
Yeah.
And eating bologna fucking sandwiches.
Drinking Mountain Dews and shit. And then Hannah asked Joe, why is the meatloaf cold?
Is that Hannah?
Yeah, it's Hannah. Why is the meatloaf cold, Joe?
Listen, the meatloaf ain't fucking cold. All right, you guys blame that shit on me all the time, and it's not. All right, it's not my fault. All
right. Ned White, Beco 375. Any of you boys ever do a rod? No, we never did a rod. In the traditional sense, we did a few PSDs, which are almost they weren't traditional rods like Team Merrill style. But we were like out in cities doing PSD work that went, sometimes 18 hours. Not super exciting, unfortunately. Kind of cool, but like not traditional Ranger cool where you're shooting dudes in the face. And Travis asks, how difficult was it going from a Ranger rifle do? Don't know your question, Travis. Type it out again. Don't understand your question. Last one, Ethan Smith. Can you have a Garmin watch at RASP? No, you can't. They check you for that shit. But all right. Honor Foundation. Honor Foundation was good. I talked about it in a previous podcast with Trevor Burnett, so go check that one out. Jenks. Joe, go for your stories.
Yeah, my droning stories. So the first one, and it's probably the most memorable story, my Ranger School experiences. It was in Darby, and we were it was like the second or third, like third day. And so you know how you have the sand table, right? The Bravo team leader or not Alpha team leader sets up the sand table, like making the routes, whatever. And so they're doing the op board, giving the brief, whatever. And so we're all like, huddled around it. And one guy, like one or two guys are standing behind it, standing behind the sand table and doing the
Joe,
brief.
Zinchek,
I don't have mine with me.
you fucked up.
I know. And they're doing the op board and going over the sand table and everything. And everybody's standing up to stay awake, right? Because people were kind of falling asleep. And all of a sudden, this kid in the back behind the sand table, they're giving the brief, and this kid literally falls asleep, dead weight, straight onto the sand table, breaks the sand table, and fucking wakes up. And literally, the RI like freaked the fuck out. He's like, "Are you fucking serious? What the fuck?" And pulls him over to the side, starts smoking him, whatever. And the dude was like sitting up too. He did everything he could, and he just fell asleep and broke the entire sand table, ruined the op board. But it's funny because I saw that and I was like, dude, how the fuck is this kid like falling asleep standing up? Because it was Darby. I was like, I'm not that like tired yet. Well, Florida. And it was like day 4, day 5, and we're doing the SI check, right? I have our rucks on the side of the road, and they're reading off, oh, but we're, and this is one of the days where like I didn't carry shit all, right? I didn't carry nothing. So I was just standing there calling off names, and I'm just, standing behind my ruck, blah, blah, blah. And next thing I know, I wake up and I'm laying on top of my ruck on the ground, and the RI is just looking at me right now with his red lens on me. He's like, Ranger, get the fuck up. And I'm literally, I fell asleep and landed straight on my ruck, standing up and on the side of the road. And yeah, and I did have a couple of droning scenarios where like I was walking and thought I was like about to head over to the side of the road to drop our rucks to do an SI check, and then someone would grab me and be like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?" And yeah, so that was my only really droning experience. But yeah.
All right, we'll hit some more questions here. Hardest part of RASP. I'll go first. Fucking man, that was so long ago. Coal range. I mean, coal range was like the first real gut check, I would say. But even then, like that wasn't super hard. Like you kind of just make it through, and you're like, oh damn, that was hard, and then you move on. What about y'all?
Mine, I talked about it a little bit the last time I was on with you. Wasn't even any of like the physical stuff. It was that we had so many heat cats that first week that they started making people do hydration formations, and they would do it every 2 hours anytime that you like were off. So after you got done with whatever training you were doing for that day, hydration formation until 9 o'clock every 2 hours. And then same thing with the weekends every 2 hours. So I think mine was just not really having like decompress time just to kind of chill and fuck off a little bit. Which I also said that might have been good for me though too, because the only thing to do there was go to the gym that's right across the street. So that was pretty much it. But yeah.
Yeah, my I mean, you guys know my hardest part. It was definitely land navigation. That was my
Yeah.
that was a kick in the butt for me. But I mean, realistically, I never really had a doubt that I was gonna quit ever throughout the first week or even coal range until the last day. And of the first time I was going through, and it was like the last ruck before you get onto the bus. Which is kind of weird because it's like you think that's when you would be the most like amped and hyped to make it through. But for me, it was like I remember just walking and we were doing the ruck, and I was just, whenever you're running and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do 3 miles, and then you're running, you hit like like 2.4 miles. You're like, oh, I'll just do 2.5. Like that'll be good today. Like that'll be fine. That's what was kind of going through my head. I was like, man, I've already made it this far. Like I've already proven I can do it. Like I don't need to do this. Like what's the point? Like I just kind of like didn't care anymore. Like it wasn't like, oh, this is too hard. I'm like, I mean, I already made it through the first weekend all of Coal Range, literally pretty much to the last ruck. And so I was like, what's the point? I don't even care anymore. Like blah, blah, blah. But then, I mean, I just had a turning point because the van was literally falling on my ass, that the white van. And I was like probably 15 meters from like the whole formation. I was walking, I'm like having this feeling sorry for myself. And I just remember the van was just right behind me. And I turned around and one of the cadre was just looking at me. And I'm just like, this dude thinks I'm going to fucking quit. Fuck him. Fucking asshole. I was like, fuck him. I'm just baiting him. That's all I'm doing. And that was a turning point for me. But I mean, I think the hardest part is definitely being able to like, you know, like I said with the running, I think running really incorporates well is like, you know, whenever you're running and you set a limit for yourself, right? But the difference between that and RASP is that you don't know. Like, you know, it's going to end on a certain day, but you don't know during that time period, like when this training thing or when this push up or exercise is going to end. And your mind just starts going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you start trying to convince yourself, like, oh, it's all right. It's fine that I did this or I already did this. You try to like cope with it in an aspect. And so pretty much shutting off your brain because your body's going to be just fine. Your body's going to do what it needs to do. And so just being able to shut off your brain, essentially go brain dead and just do what they tell you to do. And you'll be fine. Once you start thinking about stuff, that's when you need to stop because you're going to get fucked in. You're probably going to quit then.
Yeah, that's good advice. So.
How long into your time in regiment, Joe, did you finally decide to turn your brain back on from RASP?
You know, I turned it on probably a couple months before I went to quarantine. No, I went to quarantine in Fort Stewart, and then Fort Stewart, and I was like, holy shit, like, yeah, I'm shutting this shit off again.
Duke again. Duke has been a fucking champ. He's stuck out this whole fucking live
Duke
stream
with the content, brother.
Duke asking the hard questions. I think we've convinced him at this point to ditch the Marine route, to go regiment. Hopefully, I don't know why you're going to the Marines, Duke, but have you ever had any bad PLs or platoon sergeants? I don't think we ever had any bad platoon sergeants. I think we did have one bad PL, maybe two, because I mean the PLs. You got to remember that they're only there for a short amount of time, and they didn't grow up in regiments, so they don't know the culture.
And bad, I don't know. We didn't have any bad platoon sergeants. There have been bad platoon sergeants.
There have been bad platoon sergeants.
They just aren't platoon sergeants for very long.
No, they don't last.
And as far as PLs, just like a total like shitter PL, I don't think we've had any. Like there have been some that I haven't liked and that, you know, weren't my favorite individual to work with, and maybe I didn't think they were as good as another one PL or another. But as far as like just bad, didn't know their job, you know, overstepped their bounds, I don't really think we had any that were, you know, terrible at their job and like deserved or, you know, had any reasons to not be a Ranger PL. Right. But there was definitely at least one that I was not fond of.
And again, bad is very it's a subjective term. Like everyone that we've had like was able to perform, they met the standards. Mm-hmm. They did their regular tasks, like their assigned tasks, very well. It was just maybe how they handled interpersonal communication and just interacting with the boys and maybe not standing up for them as much as they should have. Like, I don't think we ever had an APL that was like tactically incompetent. Mm-hmm. So
No, I think you're dead on with that. I think it just comes down to, and it could be different for, ranger to ranger or soldier to soldier, whatever, with your own personal experiences and, how you interacted with the PL. Some people may be like, oh yeah, he's the best PL. Some people may be like, oh, I wasn't really fond of him. Just whether you agreed with him on interpersonal communication type shit, or like you said, whether they stood up for you or not. Obviously, I have a different viewpoint on my last PL, per se, with the whole quarantine and every incident
Yeah.
that happened. But really, like, it doesn't really bother me that much. Always thought, yeah, everybody was solid and squared away, at least tactically wise. And whether I agree with them or not didn't really matter at the end of the day, because as long as they could do their job, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Ranger deployments to South or Central America or Africa. None that I've seen or ever heard of to South or Central America. Africa, can't talk about. Commonalities you've seen with guys from who move on to the unit. For the few guys that I know that have made it, like, they're not really like freaks of nature, but they kind of are freaks of nature, where they're just able to fucking consistently perform physically, and that's really it as far as I know.
Well,
I'm
and here's the
trying to
thing
figure out
too.
how to put it into words.
No-
Like, go ahead.
None of
Shoot.
us know. None of us know what they're looking for,
Right.
and no one is going to. If that's something that you're trying to do, you are never going to know what they're looking for, because it might vary. It's going to vary based on their needs, and none of us actually did it, and the people who did do it aren't going to tell you either.
Yep.
They're going to say, "Go try it. Go try and go do it. Go try it," and that's all that you're going to get from any of them.
Yeah.
So none of us really know. If you think that that's something that you want to do, go do it,
Yeah.
because you
do
never
it.
know. They might tell you, "Yep, don't ever come back," or they might tell you, "Welcome to the squad."
Yeah. I will say that they were all very, very intelligent, and they were all very humble. And they could perform physically. They weren't super egotistical per se. The one I know for sure, like, he was very soft spoken, but he was a very, very good ranger. And he made it. So yeah, like she was saying, like, we don't know the standard. Like, even the guys that make it, unless they become cadre for that selection, like, they're not going to ever know what they're looking for exactly. Like, even if you make it, like, you don't know what they're looking for. And it's not just, oh, this guy passed the ruck at a certain time. Like, it's more than that, because there's dudes that'll come in bottom of the pack but still get selected because they had some kind of trait that the unit was looking for. And then same question, or same guy, another question: competency of SEALs compared to regiment and to CAG. That's kind of a beef question, my guy. And I don't think we can really talk about that a whole lot, because we did do a little bit of work with SEALs, but I don't want to talk shit on SEALs where it doesn't deserve it. But the SEALs are good. Like, the ones that we worked with were pretty good, for the most part. And I'm not going to talk about any bad things. I'm not going to talk about any good things about that one. You weren't there for that one, Shu. But Joe was. JM, any other paranormal experiences? I can't say that I have had any, really, besides hallucinating, which isn't really paranormal.
I got a paranormal story here.
Okay, let's hear it.
Back when I lived in my old house in Minnesota.
Why did you say it like that?
Because I've shut that story off in my brain, because it haunts me to this day. All right. So it was back when, like, do you guys remember the show? Was it Ghost Hunters?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures with
There's two
Zach,
different
Well,
ones.
both, but mainly
Ghost Hunters sucked compared to
Yeah, Ghost
Ghost
Hunters is
Adventures.
fake.
First of
Yeah,
all,
it was fake. But like that was when that was big popular. I think it was like 2008 to 2010 era, like area. And I always remember like, oh, like I wonder if there's a ghost in my house. And so I had one of those EVP EVP things, whatever, and I recorded it with my mom when we were downstairs in the basement, and I was like, yo, what's your name? Blah blah blah. And eventually I heard like Jason, like a Jason name. And I was like, yo, whatever. I'm like, oh, didn't think anything of it too much. And well, so my mom was gone at work and I went to take my dog down into her kennel, whatever, for the night, or not the night, the morning, because I was about to walk to class. And I kid you not, I went, put her down in the basement, right? Put her in the crate, and I turned around because I just felt something. It was weird. And I kid you not, the door to the cage slammed shut. And I didn't touch it, slammed shut. And I was probably like 11 at that point. I was in middle school, like 11. And I saw it like slam shut, spooked it upstairs, ran outside, shut the door, and I ran to class. And I called my mom too, like halfway. I was like, yo, something's going on in the house. I called her, whatever. Not sure what it ever ended up being, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that was, but it still kind of creeps me out because I'm like, yo, that shit was freaky. But
so you just left your dog?
You
Oh,
left your dog with the
absolutely.
ghost. Wow.
Oh, absolutely. The door slammed
I'm pretty
shut.
sure there's a part in the Ranger Creed that says, "I will never leave a fallen comrade."
Yeah, well, what am I gonna bring it to class and say it's my service dog and it's a little chihuahua? Like, no, I ain't doing that, brother. I said I'm gone. Natural selection. But no.
Yeah,
Wow.
I never had anything like that. But when I was in high school, I still do love Ghost Adventures, but I was real big into Ghost Adventures, and so I downloaded all the stuff on my phone, like all the apps and shit. And nothing, like I said, nothing as crazy as that. But I was in there. Like there's some app that there was that it like randomly generated a bunch of words, and it would like pick one, right? And so we're just kind of sitting there fucking around, like talking shit, and I hear like a creak in our kitchen. And I was like, what the hell? Like maybe it's just, the house settling, whatever. And then the phone pops up floor. And I was like, oh, go fuck yourself, asshole. Deleted every single ghost hunting app that I had on my phone. I said, I'm not fucking around with this shit. And then even I don't know. I think even at our last apartment that we had before we moved into our house, every single day for I don't even remember how long, probably a good majority of the time that we lived there, every single day, right around the same time, I would hear a little girl laugh, and she sounded just like my little sister. And it was like, what the fuck was that? Me and my wife were like, did that sound like my sister? She's like, yeah, what is happening? And then we just stopped talking about it. It just acted like nothing was going on, and then when we came to our house, we heard it kind of like the same thing for like a couple of days, and then just same thing, ignored it. Haven't heard it since.
Bro, you gotta put ghosts following you, bro. I've seen that in all the movies. It's something that's attached to you. It's leached onto you, right?
It's probably
Your best.
it's probably all the ghost hunting I did in high school. Have you guys seen I don't know how much longer you want to go on about paranormal shit, but have you guys seen so there's a Ghost Adventures episode that didn't air on like whatever channel they had it on. It's like Zach, the main guy, locks himself, just him, in this house, and has his boys like board up the window, like the windows, and like lock the door from the outside and like board up the door so it's like pitch black everywhere you go. And he's just like walking around. And in the beginning, it gives like a advisory, like, hey, don't watch this. If you're concerned about any sort of attachment or anything. Whatever, this whole thing, it's pretty good. I'm pretty sure I had to like go online somewhere and look for it because it didn't have it anywhere. I was, like Netflix or Hulu or anything, but pretty good. If anyone's into that shit.
Well,
Too spooky.
they did a movie called Grave Minds, because I've seen every horror movie where they literally did the same thing. They did that same thing, but at like a insane asylum or mental institution, whatever. And they boarded everything up, whatever. And then the part that pisses me off whenever they do this in horror movies is when they try to escape because shit's going wrong. And then like they break open the door and they go through the door, and then it like reverts back to the hospital. Like they can't escape it. That shit just pisses me off. But that's like pretty much the same thing.
What movie was that?
Grave
What
Minds.
was that movie called?
It's like Grave Minds or
I don't think it was that. I know what you're talking about. It's like right as they're it's like a fake, it's like a movie, but they shoot it like a documentary.
no, Grave Minds, or Grave Encounters.
Grave Encounters, that's what it is.
Yeah, when they do that, and I'm like, bro, why the fuck did you even board this shit up? Why'd you even go in there? Like, are you kidding me? Like, but
Yeah.
I actually went to in Minnesota. There was this Anoka like mental institution that was abandoned, and people would go there all the time, because apparently there was a bunch of haunted shit. And I remember I went there one day, with a couple of my buddies, and we were walking through, and we only went through like the first floor. But then we didn't hear anything or whatever. We left, and we were just chilling out of our car outside the parking lot. There was like probably 40 people just around the area, just looking at it at night. And yeah, like people were seeing like apparitions or whatever you want to call them, like passing through windows and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know.
Shit.
But I gotta piss quick, so I'll be right back.
Go rip it.
That episode, I'm pretty sure it's a movie. They turned it into like a documentary movie. It's called Demon House. So there you go. If anybody wants to watch it.
Oh, we'll hit some questions. Ethan Smith, best time of year to get an option 40, which our friend from Bico 375 Turtles and Tortoises, as soon as they release for the fiscal year. That's kind of what my strategy was too. Like I got mine in October. As soon as October, November, December, all good time frames to try and get that option 40. But you can still get it at any point. RRC versus CAG. Hard to compare the two. They both have kind of different mission sets. They're both tier 1. It's both equally as difficult to get into. I don't know if I can't really have a preference because I never tried out or was never in either of those units. So I can't really say that I prefer either one. I haven't worked with RRC. I just know that they're some fucking pretty cool dudes. Ethan Smith, will you get a lot of shit for being religious in regiment? No, not really. There was one dude in our platoon who was pretty religious, and he didn't like the Ranger songs when he was a private, and we would make him sing Ranger songs on the bus and shit. And he brought it up and was like, okay, cool. Like if you don't sing Ranger songs, that's fine. You were going to say something, Sam?
No, I was just going to say, I don't think anybody really cares.
Yeah.
Like you might get, a couple one-liners zinged at you here and there, but for the most part, for the most part, what I've seen, it's not like malicious. You know what I mean? No one really cares what you believe in. I mean, Allred was a Mormon before he got there.
Yep. So yeah, like no one's gonna give you shit. Like you'll be fine if you're seriously worried about it. Don't be. Future question for everyone: thoughts on becoming an Air Force CCT versus Ranger? Ranger's cooler. Sorry. I have an Air Force PJ buddy, and then we work with Air Force JTACs as well. And if you're gonna go CCT, try and go JTAC. I really don't know a whole lot about the differences between the two. I think CCT is a stepping stone on the way to JTAC. Don't quote me on that. I mean, if you want to work with aircraft and you want to be Air Force because they have a cush life, then do it. But two entirely different mission sets, bro. Yeah, that's end of the day. That's what it is. Current 175 mm. Current, yeah, okay, I remember him. He just shown up to regiment like when I started the channel. He's a Seco guy. Now we were 3 Alpha, bro. 3 Alpha first squad. Yeah. He's gonna regret leaving bat. Bro, if he just showed up, you ain't got time to worry about it. Enjoy it while you're there. You'll be good. Hopefully you go to school soon, get your fucking tab, fucking stick around, do at least an extension. Michael Pata. Do you know Michael Pata?
Don't think so.
Pata.
Name does not ring a bell.
No, I can't say it rings a bell either. Rod Kimball, is it weird having to live in the barracks? From the standpoint of being an adult, how does that affect your ability to live a normal social life? Well, for the most part, most dudes that live in the barracks are straight out of high school, or straight out of college, so it's not really super weird. And if you're married, like you don't have to live in the barracks. But for like the older dudes, like we were talking about, the old Sergeant Major, undercover boss, when he was 35, living in the barracks, that's a little different.
He literally owned investment properties from where he was from. He owned like 10 investment properties and he's living in the barracks. He's a 35-year-old man. He had a whole nother career before he joined the army.
Respect to him, though. Respect to him. It does get a little bit weird if you like get serious with a girl and you're like, hey, like I can't take you to my shitty 10 by 20 fucking barracks room because some other grown man's gonna yell at me if you're there if you're there past midnight.
And then she starts recognizing the names on the walls and the doors of everyone else while you're walking by.
Oh, or she asks you, "Oh, which side of the compound you live on, or which compound do you live in?"
If you just tell her, what company you're in, and she starts leading the way to your barracks, that's when you're in trouble.
That's when you're like, oh shit. Or if she asks, does your call sign end in a number or a letter?
Yeah.
Don't even keep talking to her. Just fucking let it go. She's for the boys at that point. Which if you're into that, cool, but just don't expect to marry her and have that work out.
You could tell an Airborne Ranger by his girlfriend.
By his girlfriend. You can tell an Airborne Ranger by his girlfriend. She rides like a stallion, and she's fucked the whole battalion.
Yep.
You can tell an Airborne Ranger by his girlfriend.
By his girlfriend.
Glorious, victorious. One keg for the four of us, and glory be to God that there aren't no more of us, because one of us can be alone.
Damn near
past the beer to the rear. First squad.
That is not easy to do when there's latency between all this shit.
Right. Duke is still being a champ. Do you keep any gear such as helmets, plate carriers, etc.? I mean, I lost my helmet.
It depends how good you are at tactically acquiring certain things, brother.
Give me 1 second. Maybe. Depends on how much you want to pay for it.
You paid for that?
Maybe.
Oh God. I mean, it makes sense for you.
I have night vision, so it made sense for me.
I know. Yeah. No, I mean, I got to keep a bunch of stuff. It was all like the cold weather gear stuff, but which is
Well, yeah, you got lucky with that. I wanted to keep the fucking level 7s, dude. That shit's fucking comfy.
Oh, dude, yeah, I got it all. I gave the what was it? The wind shirt to our favorite combat hamster.
Did
It was
did you guys have to
his
turn
favorite
in
piece of clothing.
did you guys have to turn in your cry?
No.
No, they didn't make you get staring in them.
No.
How is bat in 2023? I don't know, bro. I'm not in. Good question. It's an adjustment period for sure. People are getting used to not going to war every year, so there's a lot of poopy dudes and a lot of dudes that are wanting to get out. So, but there's also a lot of dudes, coming on the up and up and wanting to make it good. MM still focused on the GWAT other than other stuff. Well, maybe you shouldn't be talking about that, my guy. Bill Bond for boys. When am I gonna get a combat deployment? Good question. We don't know. Make it happen.
Good luck in your future endeavors, brother.
Good luck in your future endeavors. Not a comment, but a statement from Seco. Standards are high and they expect a lot from you and you work your ass off, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. They're tough ass motherfuckers and they put out every day. Yep. That's a good summary, my guy. Combat support opinions on combat support MOS and regiment. I mean, we don't really have a whole lot of support direct except from, medics, FOs, which are, on the line with us basically. I don't really know how to answer that. That's a very open-ended question, my guy. But I mean, our support, I guess, our non-infantry roles are still very good at what they do. And at the end of the day, they're still Rangers. Like, yeah, they might not be a fucking line guy, but cooks are important. Fucking mechanics are important. Keeping our strikers running because God knows that we can't fucking fix shit on a fucking vehicle.
Well, we get a lot of the different well, not a lot, but I mean, remember times we do shoot houses and stuff like that. And we'd have the FOs and even medics and whatnot do the shoot houses with us and stuff. So they were incorporated in a good amount of infantry men task type shit, if you want to say, that we would do too on top of their own jobs. So yeah, they were all liked. They would all do a lot of the stuff too whenever we could fit it in. So we all worked collaboratively together. And, sometimes we would do stuff that they were knowledgeable on and they would come and do stuff that we were knowledgeable on. So kind of a trade-off of skills and stuff. So
future. How good is the food in regiment? And then MM immediately says, how good is the food? Don't ask stupid questions. First bat, our chow hall situation is the worst out of the 3 battalions, for sure.
Don't have a chow hall.
We didn't even have a fucking chow hall. They fucking shut it down. Second battalion and third battalion. Second battalion definitely has their own chow hall. Third battalion shares one, I think, from what I remember. But both those are pretty good from what I've heard. The second bat, chow hall I've heard is killer. Like fucking get as much food as you want kind of deal.
First bat chow hall was burnt Salisbury steak and grilled cheese without the grilled in front of it.
It was just buttery bread and cheese that was melted. It wasn't grilled.
It was a go to Kroger or buy Chick-fil-A type of shit. But then they shut it down and they end up just giving everybody BAS. So don't gotta worry about the chow hall.
Duke, how much did you pay for NVG? I actually won them in a raffle. On the account is at number 9 minded on Instagram. They run fucking night vision raffles like every Friday at 9 p.m. EST. That's how I won.
I still can't believe you won that shit. You literally came out of our room. Like it was like
it was November of 2019. Or it was October. It was like right after we got back from Dwyer.
Yeah, you come back a week later and you come in my room I'm playing like video games on like a Friday night or some shit. You're like, dude,
It was a
I just
Friday
want
night,
I just want a pair of fucking nods. And I was like, shut the fuck up. You're like, yeah, dude, I think dude, it's like, I don't know, just everything's happening right now. It's so weird. I'm like, what the fuck you win nods? You're like,
Of course,
dude,
it's this motherfucker that wins them too, right?
no, because it was like, dude, it was like right after you had like broken up with your ex-girlfriend or whatever and
Yeah.
and everything. And you're like, dude, it's just a sign, bro, or some shit like that. You're like, dude,
Uh,
it's just, I don't know, man. It's a
Jesus
sign or
Christ.
something. And I'm like, and then you left, and I was like, this motherfucker just won nods in a raffle. And then remember you got at the next house, whatever, you got the other three, all of us, except for me, to get into the raffle too. And old boy
oh,
almost
Ty
won
was.
them.
Oh yeah. Old boy was fucking real close, and he was like
It was
one
like,
off from the spin.
yeah, dude, he was like one out, he like hit his name and then like stopped and like slow, and then went right past his name
Yeah.
to the next person. He almost won a pair too.
Thank God he didn't. You motherfuckers would be terrorizing that fucking neighborhood.
Dude, he already had a set of sevens though, is the thing, which was funny. Ned's talking about fucking missions. Marauder Rapids, epic. Thanos Lobos, epic. Green Sword, epic. Dude, Ned, hit me up on my Instagram if you're still watching at the Zach Red. We'll get you on the fucking podcast. We'll talk about that shit. The stuff that we can't talk about. Do you guys miss Regiment? Yes, I think we can all say that.
Best job I ever had and will ever have, but also most tiring and fucking stressful time ever. I just like to be able to wake up in the morning and know what the fuck I was gonna do today and where I was gonna be. And Regiment's not the place for that. Especially on fucking New Year's Eve.
Oh yes, New Year's Eve. Classic. Chow is still shitty. Yep, tracking, bro. They're offering privates BAS. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then is complaining about the barracks. Hey, bro. The barracks, yeah, there might be ass. However, you are only 30 minutes away from a beach.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're complaining about.
Here's the thing. Savannah is like the most normal army town / city that you will ever be in. Go drive down to SCAD and hook up with some SCAD chicks. You'll be good. Drive on, brother.
You're also only like a 2.5 minute walk from fucking Popeyes, bro. All right. I'll tell you right now, man. I'll tell you right now, dude. What I miss so much about that is being so close to there and the gas station. Like now I gotta drive fucking 20 minutes to any food place or any gas station nearby. Except for there's a shitty Chevron next to me. I miss just like I miss being able to literally like hop in my car, be like, yo, I want a can of dip, or yo, I want some fucking monsters, or fucking I want a tornado, fucking sausage,
bro.
fucking
Bro, there's a Circle K. Okay. There's a Circle K on my way to work. And I went to work on my birthday. We had like this meeting, this Monday meeting that just drags on. And I told Alex, she's like, what do you want to do for your birthday? I was like, I don't care. I want to go to the Circle K and I want to get a fuck ton of tornadoes. And I just want to sit in my truck and eat tornadoes. And I fucking got there and they were all out of tornadoes.
No.
Bro. I was so fucking pissed. It ruined the whole day. I was so fucking mad. But I it's literally on the way to work. I stop by there probably 2 times a week and just grab a couple tornadoes for the drive-in. Fuck, so good.
Dude, you know, we always talked about this all the time, but could you imagine if especially our base, if they ever like, you know, honestly, like, you know, I said Popeyes, but like, bro, imagine they just like put in like a Chick-fil-A and a Chipotle like next door to each other right there. Like,
bro, they would fucking cash out.
Rack it,
dude, the amount of, I mean, it's not like you like they would get probably 2/3 of everyone living on base or that went to base, like that worked on base, every single lunch you would have that. It would be filled, so you get at least like 1,000 fucking customers a day, daily.
That would be the slowest Chick-fil-A probably known to man, though.
Yeah, that's the thing
Oh.
is it'd have to be staffed by fucking government workers, which government workers don't give a fuck. It would suck, Joe. So I think that it's a good idea in theory, but the service would take a fucking nosedive.
Dude, just make all the fucking privates go work there. Dude, instead of doing the chow
No, the
detail at the
private's got to
barracks.
do private shit, dude.
No, because instead of making the fucking CQ people do it at the chow
Dude,
fucking
no one would
detail.
ever want to do CQ.
That's what
What do you mean?
that's what the National Guard Ranger unit will be doing. They'll
They'll
be
run the
in
Chick-fil-A's.
shifts,
It'll be all cooks. It'll be all cooks.
Dude, what do you mean? If I was on CQ and someone's like, yo, you go work at Chick-fil-A for an hour and you get a fucking free Chick-fil-A sandwich or a free Chick-fil-A meal and a cookies and cream
No,
large
no.
shake.
Have
No.
you seen
Joe,
that?
there's only one size of shake at Chick-fil-A. That's how I know that you're not a Chick-fil-A connoisseur.
Well, you
Have
want to
you
know
guys
what's
seen-
crazy? Wait, you just said I'm not a Chick-fil-A connoisseur.
Yeah, you just said that
Jesus
they have
Christ.
large shakes. There's only one size of shakes.
Did
at
you really
Chick-fil-A.
just say that?
Yeah,
really?
I did say that.
Because I got a fucking 4-count right here waiting to be heated up. Because I just had a
Why
cookies
is it
and
in
cream
the
shake.
fridge?
Because I always get a 4-count after my meal. I always get a 4-count added onto it because every single night after it, I'm still craving Chick-fil-A. And so I heat it up in the microwave and then I eat it at night before I go to bed.
Shocker.
So don't tell me I'm
Have
not a
you-
Chick-fil-A connoisseur.
Have you guys ever seen that Cat Williams stand up where he's where it was when like that Rick Ross song Hustlin' was real big, and he's talking about him working at a McDonald's and playing Hustlin' over the loudspeaker?
No, I haven't.
No, look it up after we're done. That's how I imagine Joe working at Chick-fil-A if they offered him a sandwich.
Well, you remember the story I told you about when I went to Chick-fil-A the first time here in Dahlonega, and I was like, oh, you guys do the military discount or whatever? And they're like, oh, well, we do like law enforcement and blah, blah, blah. So I can just put you down on that. And me and my girlfriend had gotten an order. It was like $30. It came to like $6. They take like 80% off for like first responders and law enforcement. I was like, oh, I'm eating Chick-fil-A every day. So we went there like 2 days later and got a big ass order, like $40 worth. I got like 8-count chicken strip, full meal. She got a full meal. And I was like, oh, do you guys do military discount? And it was like, it wasn't on the like microphone thing, whatever, is an actual person this time. And this 18-year-old kid. And he had like a nose ring and everything. And I was like, you guys do military discount? And he's like, no, we don't. And swiped my card before I could even like question him. And I was like, are you
Damn.
serious right now?
Joe is trying to game the system, dude.
I
Dude.
know, you piece of
Dude.
shit.
So I left, and then like we pull up to the drive-through, and this lady was talking about like they weren't even handing us food. She had her back turned to us in the window and was like talking to this other girl about her being lactose intolerant and like shitting out of her ass. Stuff like that, which I can
remember you
relate
telling me
to.
that.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I
that sounds like
remember
your
that.
life, Joe.
But I was so pissed, so I left a fucking complaint, and the general manager called me back of Chick-fil-A and was talking to me, and so I asked her, I was like, yeah, so like, why do you guys not offer military discount, but you offer like first responders and like law enforcement? Like, and she's like, honestly, I can't answer that. Like, I am not in charge of that. And I was like, whatever. Like, but then she's like, I would like to know more about what the
Dude.
employees were stating. So I was like, and my girlfriend literally had to walk out because she was getting so red in the face. And I fucking I was like, yeah. So they were pretty much had their back turned to us, and she was literally talking to this other employee with her back turned to us, talking about how she was shitting out of her ass because she was lactose intolerant. And I word for word, I said that, and I heard silence for like 4 to 5 seconds. And I was like, hello? And she's like, Mr. Van Heel, I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that and heard that. That is not part of our employee, blah, 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 blah. And so they ended up sending me, and I got a free meal out of it. So I did what needed to be done. But
Wow.
I'm still
Take that
pissed.
nose ring guy.
Yeah, I hope he got fucking fired too, because that dude was disrespectful as shit. He literally swiped my card before I can even be like, well, what do you mean? Like,
Did you lie and say it was the guy with the nose ring? I don't remember his name, but I know he had a nose ring.
No, I didn't. I did not know his name, but she didn't really care about that. She didn't care about the military discount. She just cared about what the employees are saying. I was like, well, if you don't care about that, I'm gonna full blast them and get them fired because frick you. Yeah.
You fucking degenerate.
Dude, it's just like, I mean, here's the thing, man. It's like it's the same thing with like, you know, the student discount versus like veterans discount. Like, why student discounts do you get more than a veterans discount? You know, over students make less money than veterans. It's like, well, fucking barely. You barely make less money. Shit, if you work at McDonald's, you make more than the military. So why do you get bigger
Do you
discount?
though?
No shot.
No shot. No shot.
If you work at
Joe.
McDonald's full time for a year compared to the military, oh, absolutely, you make more money.
No.
Fuck no, Joe.
I mean, maybe more than a fucking E1, E2.
Yeah.
But
Well, what
then
do you
you
mean?
take into consideration benefits, healthcare, housing.
Okay, well, let's talk about my situation. I paid for rent. I didn't get
Oh my
BAS.
fucking god! I knew it was fucking coming. I knew it was
I didn't get
fucking coming.
BAS until I was almost a fucking E5.
You still had a barracks room, Joe. Roger.
Oh, don't fucking get me there, dude. You better chill out right now. I'm about to fucking burn this podcast down.
All right. MM is asking if we missed the Ranger bars. McDonough's is the Barrel House. He's asking if we missed Barrel House and Wet Willie's. Yes.
No.
Not Wet Willie's. We didn't. I never really went to Wet Willie's. Barrel House is fun. McDonough's is the OG though. As I'm sure.
Social is pretty good. I like
Social's good. Rogue is good.
They had the burgers.
McDonough's is the best.
Were you guys around whenever Ampersand?
It closed like
Was
right
around?
after I showed up because old boy, old sweaty boy in first squad that we were talking about earlier, was always complaining that Ampersand closed.
I
Dude,
believe it.
I heard that was the spot.
It was
No.
all right. I took my first St. Patrick's Day down there. I mean belligerent. I went on like a tear. Me and you guys won't know if I call him Red Fury. Me and this guy that I went to RASP with, were downtown. Pretty much all like our RASP like crew. We're downtown. We're like, oh yeah, we'll go drink, whatever. Me and him kind of break off, and he goes to the bathroom and he comes back. He's like, bro, there's a sign in the bathroom I think we could take.
Oh, I
And I
remember
was
the
like,
story.
what? And so I go and I'm looking and I'm like, bro, where are there any other signs around here that we could probably get? And so we like start walking up the stairs and I look at this big ass sign. I'm like, fuck this sign on this wall. I'm taking it down. And so I go to pull it and this fucker is like screwed in there. And so I end up like putting my back up against the wall and my feet up against the other wall in this stairwell and just pushing off, falling on my ass. The sign tumbles down the stairs. We sprint upstairs to try and not get caught. There's nobody up there. It's like the bartender. We're like, we're getting the fuck out of here. And as we're leaving, I took like this giant, the fireball sign was like probably the size of like some from my torso to my head. It's probably like at least 3 feet. And it's just sitting there in a box. I'm like, well, they're not even going to hang this thing up. This is mine. And so I grabbed it, walked straight out of the fucking bar, and all of our boys were waiting outside. And the second that they saw my happy ass walking out with that sign, they're like, fuck no, we are not hanging out with you two today. And they just dipped out.
Isn't that when you fucking passed out in the fucking swamp?
When I passed out in the swamp?
Yeah, I remember you showed me a picture of you passed out
Oh,
on a St. Patty's
no.
Day. Or was that the next one?
No. We did that a couple times. No, that no. So that night ended with I blacked out for a little bit. We went and hid the sign behind some door and went to go look for it the next day, and it was gone, of course.
Naturally.
But there's like a portion of the night where I blacked out. And the only thing I remember is I took a Snapchat while me and old boy were walking through the alley with our sign. And I had on this like 4XL green vape shop t-shirt that someone had thrown out their car window to me. And I have a huge lip in. and it's just dripping down my face. And I took a snapshot, like, "What's up, motherfuckers?" And my phone is just blowing up. Like, my wife is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" This is before we were married. And she was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You're bleeding everywhere." And I was like, "Oh, that's not blood." It's like, but no, me and my buddy ended up splitting off somehow. Oh, because we were going to Sweet Melissa's to go grab some pizza. And his style is, I'm gonna be a fucking belligerent drunk and just walk to the front of the line and pull out a receipt from my pocket from one of the bars that we went to and slam it on the counter and say, "I haven't got my pizza yet," until they give him pizza to just shut the fuck up. And so I'm like, "Hey, just wait right here. I'm going to go to the Porta Johns, wherever the closest one is. I'll be back in 10 minutes. And I come back and he's gone, nowhere to be found. I run into someone else and we're like, "Hey, you trying to get a cab? We're going to get the fuck out of here." We go. I wake up the next morning. I call him to make sure he's alive. He's like, "Yeah, I'm at the barracks, whatever." And come to find out, he went into Sweet Melissa's, did his, the traditional, "Give me my pizza." They gave him the big ass, like the 40 something inch pizza. He's walking around. He took a right out of Sweet Melissa's, away from, like, down, was it, is that President's right there?
Fuck, I don't know.
He crossed Whitaker. He went across Whitaker.
Yeah. Because it's right on the corner
going
of
that way.
Whitaker. Yeah.
Going that way, away from, like, the downtown.
Away from downtown.
Like,
He's heading south. He's heading towards McDonough's.
No, he was right from Sweet Melissa, like northeast a little bit.
So he's going he's going towards the river.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he's like kind of walking, and he is trying to eat this pizza with this big ass box, trips into these bushes at some square, falls over into the bushes, passes out, falls asleep, wakes up to the bums trying to eat his pizza. He starts fighting off the bums, falls back asleep, wakes up to some guy saying, "Bro, you can't sleep here. You're going to get arrested." Moves him over to a park bench, falls asleep again. The guy wakes him up again, calls him a cab, puts his ass in a cab, gone. Another one of my buddies who said that when they saw us with the sign, didn't want to be a part of it, ends up getting his fake ID taken, thinks the cops are chasing after him, hauls ass down some alley, comes up against some, like, barbed wire fence, and just throws himself over it. His leg is just cut to fuck. His leg is bleeding everywhere. He decides, I just have to walk back to base. So he just starts walking.
Naturally.
Starts walking back. Some, like, family scooped him up and was like, "Hey, where are you going? We'll give you a ride." And they end up giving him a ride right to the gate. And then he just goes in and on about his day. But no, the times I slept outside were because one of our buddies had a house kind of over there, and he's like, "Yeah, if you guys ever need a place to crash, let me know. Don't do anything stupid." And so we would walk to his house and try to remember where exactly his house was. And the first time we did it, we couldn't remember. So we ended up hopping this fence that was backed up to this park. And it was like this just random, like, wooded area by this park downtown. So we jumped the fence and we're like, this looks like as good a place of any to call it a night, boys. I'll see you in the morning. And just passed out in the mid, like, this little wooded area. We wake up the next morning. We were, like, no less than a block from his house. His house was right there. And then after we knew exactly where he lived, we just slept in his backyard a couple of times. Just didn't even tell him, just, like, hopped the fence and just slept there.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, boys. We've been going for about 3 fucking hours here. All right,
right,
chat.
Three more.
Last questions.
While we wait
Send
for
them.
while we wait for the questions coming, I'd just like to point this out that Danger Ranger YouTube channel is changing directions now. All right, folks.
What are we doing now?
Here's what we're doing. All right.
What are we
Many
doing?
of you guys know, you guys probably heard of the Joe Rogan Experience, right? On Spotify. Well, we're going to be the Joe Rogan Experience Part 2, V2, version 2. All right. We're going to be doing a podcast with us 3 weekly, all right? Every Friday at this time, all right? And then we're going to be hopping on Spotify and yeah, so just be ready. Every weekly at 9:30, 9 o'clock, whatever we plan on. We'll be doing weekly podcasts, all right? Because yeah, we're changing directions per my say.
Oh, we are, Joe. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I'll do them.
Except for when I got the guard, then you know.
Oh yeah.
Wait, shit. Hey,
you got the guard.
You have to do it while you're at the guard so that you can
Yeah.
give people a behind the scenes look.
Yeah, I'll do it. Well, you know, if we do it this next Friday, I'll be at Stewart in the woods somewhere or whatever, doing whatever shit. Probably.
Well, you better fucking get on the stream then. No excuse.
I have Wi-Fi. I got Verizon, so yeah, I could definitely do it. I'll just, you know, what I'll do is I'll put a GoPro on my shit connected to Zoom somehow and show you guys
I want to see that Platoon live fire, dude.
my Platoon
live stream your Platoon live fire.
Dude,
Lord.
It was so funny when we did squad live fire last year or whatever. It was fucking cold out there. It was like 30 degrees and there was like AC like generator type shit that they had, but it was fuming off like some toxic ass fucking gas, but it was warm. And there was like 5 or 6 people that were literally like inhaling that shit, sitting on top of it to like get warm. And I went over there for like probably 2-3 seconds and I could just smell the fucking toxic fucking chemicals. And I was like, bro, this is not good for you at all. You guys are like, I don't give a fuck. I was like, oh my God.
All
dude.
right, bro.
I was like, it's 2 days, dude. Like, chill out, bro. You guys don't need to kill yourself. And be like, I'm so cold right now, bro. Like, I can't. Oh my God, dude.
Pussies. Not gonna make it.
Uh,
All right, last questions. Duke, have any of us considered a career in the military? For me personally, no. I was at a decision point where I was like, okay, do I stick and make it a career, or do I get out now? Because it was at the, about 7, almost 8-year mark. I chose to get out. Obviously, Sammy got out, and then Joe is doing his guard, and then he's going to be getting out as well.
Whoa.
Oh, you're not going to get out? Oh, this is news.
It depends on the incentives, dude. If they can hit me with a fat bonus,
they're not going to hit you with a fat bonus.
Yeah.
The fat bonus is the only thing that can.
They're not going to hit you with it.
Because if they give me the fat bonus, then I guess I'm deploying and. Yeah, no, I'm probably not because
you're not gonna do it.
I don't want to play in a couple months. So,
I definitely thought about it. Whenever I first got in, I pretty much had plans to do 20, just because my grandpa was in Vietnam, my dad did 20, so I was like, starting up the old family business again. But yeah, it just things change, plans change, and kind of just go with the flow.
Yeah. Let's see questions. Did you get a regiment because the war ended? Partial. That was one of the factors made of my decision. I don't know about y'all.
That definitely helped for sure. Yeah. But I kind of knew really at least for me, mine kind of like I said at the beginning of this was mostly like family. Wife was kind of sick of, rapid deployments, no notice,
fucking 0-3s.
Very shortly after we had our first child, so she was not liking that.
Yeah, I
You
mean, mine was definitely that, and then kind of all the stars aligned. My girlfriend was going to PT school, or she started PT school the day after my ETS date was, and yeah, it was just like the war was kind of coming to an end, and I was also after that whole Fort Stewart quarantine, and also was like, yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a lot harder. I mean, she may can attest to this more than either one of us, but once you have a family and kids and trying to kind of settle down in aspects, it's like it's a lot harder than if you're just single and you got nothing else better to do. I mean, I'm not married, but I was dating her since right when I got to regiment, actually like a little bit before. And so, you know, it was like I either picked the point of regiment or, my girlfriend and my future with her and whatnot. And so, yeah, typically I feel like that's with a lot of people, you do your time to a certain extent, then you kind of hit that breaking point of like putting your whatever before regiment. Cause for the whole time that you're in, it's regiment first. So
yeah. Rodrigo, does Doc Anderson deserve the Medal of Honor for Aries? I don't know all of the specifics about Aries, but I knew that shit was fucking whack and wild. I can't speak to whether or not he deserves the Medal of Honor because I don't know all the specifics. I wasn't there, and I haven't read the entire, classified write-up of it. But from what I hear, I mean, that shit was tough, and he did a lot of good work there. So, I mean, that's not up to me to decide, dude. I'm just a fucking former 175 dude. I think that as a whole, though, like Rangers for the most part kind of get under recognized for the shit that we do. I mean, it is our job description to fucking do more than the average fucking line infantry unit. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't get the recognition that we deserve, because there's a lot of dudes that have done fucking wild shit and brave shit that don't get recognized for it just because it's your job to do it. But it's like it's still nice to get that fucking recognition at the end of the day.
well, I feel like too, especially like even like more civilian side, it's like, bro, not a lot of people really know what regiment is, and compared to aspects of like, Green Berets or SEALs, and per se, like, I mean, especially even up here, shit, like, I live where 5th RTB is, and most people insinuate or associate like Rangers as Ranger School, like went to Ranger School, and that's it. They don't know about regiment. They don't know what regiment is or what we do. And so I think it's just, more of that quiet professional, but it's also the what do you call it? I guess because you have Ranger School, that everybody just associates Army Ranger with going to Ranger School and don't really know that there's a whole soft unit behind that aspect of it as well. So
Anything to add, Shu?
No, I was kind of zoning out.
It is late for y'all there. It's fucking midnight.
Well, I got the night shift, baby, so I'm
you
I'm
do
up
have
for the
night shift.
foreseeable future.
All right. Any last closing statements, boys? I think we've fucking covered it about everything tonight. Chat's degenerating now into name calling and shit talking.
Respect.
YouTube, gotta love it. Well, appreciate y'all for coming out. Everyone that stuck through the whole fucking broadcast. I don't know if this saves as a recording. Hopefully it does. Hopefully I get the option to upload it and make it public. But
I mean, I think it should on YouTube. The whenever you click on your profile, it'll pop up if you like go under the live where you can click like home videos, all that shit.
Yeah,
it should automatically just upload. I don't know if it takes like a certain amount of time or what to finish doing all the technical
processing and shit. Yeah. All right. Well, I think it'll buff. If not, well, everyone that stuck through it got a fucking exclusive podcast. But next time, if we do this again, we'll fucking make sure that it gets
Whoa.
uploaded. But
Whoa,
I think
whoa,
we
whoa.
should be good. Oh, next
Next-
week. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah,
Next
yeah,
week.
next week, 9:30 at night. You guys will be seeing GoPro footage live of me doing platoon live fire.
Joe, you don't even own a GoPro.
No, but I can buy one.
Joe, you can barely work a saw. How are you expected to fucking work a GoPro?
Well, good thing I don't need to operate a saw anymore. All right, I'll fucking operate radios. All right, I'll be coming up. You guys will
Oh.
be hearing my prestigious. Yeah, so 9:30 next week at this time. No, but
I cannot.
If you guys
confirm
want an
whether or not-
example of how not to talk on a radio, tune in next week at 9.
If you guys want to know how not to run fucking platoon live fire,
I'll be hot micing and answering YouTube questions on the live stream mid fucking training event, dude.
all right. Well, we're finishing out. Thanks everyone for fucking sticking around. Further questions, drop them in the comments on the re-upload of this fucking video, and I'll get around to answering them. Or Joey might pop in and fucking talk shit, answer them.
And what?
I said Joey might pop in and fucking comment. Sometimes you do on my videos.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
also, I don't know if this chat will still be live, but I'll be. on it for
It'll
like
be.
an-
I think it'll be like time synced.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah, I'll answer questions on there in between my stupid fucking midterms I have this week coming up. So.
all right, everyone, take care. We'll see y'all next week.